welcome back to the podcast. Alongside us today are two very special guests, local legends and two legends of the game of basketball, Kassie and Kaylie Monday.
Thanks for having us. We're so excited for this.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
And we've also got with us, he's turned into my co-host now, basically.
I've got the merch on now. I've got the Delatory Stories podcast t-shirt on, so I think I'm just a regular at this point.
Hunter Crouch, he's co-host, friend, neighbor.
Yeah, I think that might be the biggest thing. We live right next door.
Yeah, he really ain't got nothing better to do, so he comes over here.
Just come do the pod.
All right, Kassie and Kaylie, just go ahead and kind of introduce yourselves a little bit and tell us some of your accomplishments.
So I'm Kassie. I'm the cool twin. No, I'm just kidding. So we've played basketball ever since we were old enough to walk. That's all we've ever known. My dad has been our coach and mentor for as long as we can remember. And one of my biggest influences has been my brother Austin because he played in the same position I played. Shout out Austin. Hunter still beat you 1v1 is what I hear. But so basketball's all we've known. That's been our life since forever. And we had a really good high school career. We went to the state tournament 3 out of our 4 years. We fell short. We didn't win a state championship, but we had some good runs. And then we got to college and we made it to the national tournament we made it to national tournament 4 years, but we made it to the Sweet 16 2 times and the Final Four once, which was our junior year. And so we just ended our last season of basketball, ended our basketball career, which is pretty sad, but looking forward to the next chapter.
Yeah. I'm Kaylie Monday. I'm excited to be here. But so she talked about our background, but I'll tell you our recent. We graduated last May at the University of the Cumberlands, and we started our 4th year of basketball and was starting our master's program. So we're currently in our master's right now, and I'm doing school counseling, and she's doing education.
Sweet. Yeah. Was that the Final Four? Was that the first time in school history?
Yes, we
I
made
think
history.
So. Yeah, we made history. Yeah, our
Sweet.
junior year.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, talk about that because I think that was really kind of a just big deal. So
when we got to the University of the Cumberlands, Coach Reeves was still trying to build the program up. So when we made it to the national tournament, it was a big deal, but it was an even bigger deal making history when we went to the Final Four. And then we fell short to the national champions that year, which actually won it this year. So, but when we played in the Final Four, we played our rivals Campbellsville, which they beat us 3 times that year, I think.
Yes, because we met them in the
and then we met them
tournament.
Yeah, and then we had a chance to play them again in the Final Four.
We've never beat them in all of our college experience as we've been there, so that was It
was a sweet experience. So, but it was just a feeling that we was over the moon just to make it that far, and we were just thankful for that experience.
Yeah.
Didn't that happen to you all in high school too? You lost to the eventual champions.
Yeah, we did. Our senior year, we lost to Summertown.
Summertown.
Summertown,
That's right. They're double A now. They're
they're double A now.
And you all played them in the first first game.
Round. Yeah, we got beat
but
first
didn't
round.
they blow everybody out in the second
Yeah,
round?
so it's basically the championship game in the first round.
I don't agree with that.
That's what I was going to talk about. What do you all think of the seeding there? How they do that?
Honestly, it kind of stinks, but I mean, if you want to be the best, you've got to beat the best. So that was just my mindset, and
it doesn't matter when you play them.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're gonna be the champion, you got to beat the best. So
I think since I coach in high school, I think there should be somebody from Tito Display that goes around and just kind of pops into games and okay, this team's legit.
Mm-hmm.
They pop into your gym, see y'all at Clarkrange. This is the number 1 or number 2 team in the state.
Yeah.
They go to Summertown. This is the number 1 team. We got to keep them on opposite sides of the bracket.
Yeah, there definitely needs to be a committee.
Yeah,
Right,
I agree.
right. But they just draw, and then when you draw, the York girls, it seems like they always pulled that Westview team.
Yeah.
Luckily, this year they pulled them in the state championships, which they didn't win, but still they got to play them in the state championship. And I don't know. I just think that they need to do that a little bit differently.
And that kind of takes away from the really good teams like you all were that year, because even if you hadn't won the championship, you probably would have been in the championship
Been in
and at
it.
least got a silver
That's
ball.
right.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you would have got a silver
Yeah.
ball. Instead, you got beat in the first round. But
Yeah,
still,
and got-
making it to the state tournament is
Yeah.
a really big accomplishment, especially 3 out of 4 years
Yeah.
that you're in
Yeah.
school.
And our junior year, we won the first round in the state tournament, and then the second round we were supposed to play Greenfield, the ones that beat us from the previous year, but COVID hit and we
Yeah.
didn't get a chance to play.
And-
Yeah, I was going to ask you all about that. What was that experience like?
Well, so like, you know, when you win the first round of state, you're like so excited, and we were ready to play the next day.
Yeah,
like,
we were playing really good.
Yeah, we were playing good. We beat that team that the first round by like 25, so we were fired up. We were ready to play. We
wanted revenge.
Yeah,
from last
so like
year.
we were ready to play, and while we was at Murphy Center watching the fallen game after us, they said games have been postponed, and they didn't know, they couldn't tell us when it was going to happen. So like we kept having hope. Is like you know, because COVID, no one knew at the time what it was really, and they just kept giving us hope. You know, we kept practicing, we kept trying to get better. You know, thinking that hey, this is our year to win it. And then when it is like bam, like they'd cancel it all, and it's like, you know, it's like a heartbreaking feeling, because it's like we had a shot to win it, you know.
Yeah, it's not like you got beat.
Yeah.
Like y'all won.
Yeah.
Y'all were in that next round, but it got taken from you. And that,
Yeah, you
that
put
does
in
sting.
all that work all
Yeah.
year long for it to be took from you right at the end.
Yeah.
So y'all keep saying a lot of we talking about your team, and I've always told everybody I've talked to, I'm like, just sweet, humble kids. You're humble athletes, but we got to talk about you and you. All right, I don't want to talk about the team anymore. 1,500 points in high school and in college, right? Over 2,000.
3,000.
2,000 points
In high school.
in high school,
Yeah.
and you,
Almost 2,000 in college.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
and then you're the all-time steals leader at the college.
Yeah.
Probably the all-time steals leader at the high school, maybe. I don't know.
I don't
You got
know.
the record at the state tournament
Yeah.
with 11 steals.
Yeah.
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 None of you all are beating your aunt in the assist category, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
so that's kind of the stuff that I have down. What you broke a record too? What was the other record?
I broke the single assist record for our school, and I'm the all-time leading assist record.
Okay.
Yeah, at
that's what I
University
thought.
Cumberlands too.
All right. So break us down all those stats. Go. I want to hear it.
I know when I was looking at the stats, it looked like I guess you led in points and assists, but then defensively you had the steals and the rebound advantage. Do you all kind of getting off that a little bit, but we'll go back to that. When you all just play one-on-one kind of, do you kind of feel that? I mean, do you kind of lock her down, or how's that go?
Yes, she does. Yes.
But she'll do this crazy move on offense. I'm like, well.
Yeah, but I'm like, she was always the defensive player. It's like where I was always point guard. All my coaches that I've played for, they're like, you're the leader on the floor. So like I feel like I focus more on offense because I had to lead my team. And like if we didn't have anything going on offense, it was on me because I'm the point guard. I'm
Right.
the leader on the floor. And I just feel like that was my main focus. So like when KK was on defense, that she was like the leader
The
for
defensive
defense.
anchor.
And she was the one that stopped the ball and got us fired up, wanting to help her.
Yeah, so we kind of evened each
Yeah.
other out. And then, but if she was having struggling offensively, I tried to step up offensively. But if I was struggling on defense, she stepped up too. So
Yeah, not to take anything away from you offensively, because you were great
I was about to
offensively
say,
too.
you were a great three-point shooter.
yeah,
too.
you had 1,500 points or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I think I was looking at the stats, and one of you shot like 45% from three, and the other one shot
that's
like
KK, my
39.
shooter. She gave me my assist.
and then there's like you're both shooting around 80 something from free throws, so you all could definitely shoot. Talking about the shooting, what did you all do just growing up outside of the regular practices that you think really helped take you to that next level?
we just stayed in the gym constantly. Even after practice, we'd ask our dad, because he was a coach all these years, coached us, coached our brother. We'd always just ask dad and say, can we go to the gym any off day? We really didn't have any off days because we just loved the game so much. And we got to play against each other, play against older competition. So I think that helped us a lot too.
Yeah, what she said, we was just always in the gym shooting. Like, I remember my dad, he would rebound for us with free throws. He always made us hit 10 free throws in a row before we left the gym. And I remember one night I could not hit 10 free throws. And, like, I wanted to give up so bad, but my dad said, no, we're not leaving until you hit your 10 free throws, which I really appreciate my dad for doing that because it just showed me, like, hey, you can get through this. Like, you're a good shooter. Like, believe in yourself and, like, don't just stop when, like, hard times come.
Yeah, that had to be super beneficial having a dad who was a coach.
Yeah.
And then also, I mean, coming from a basketball family with your aunt and your cousin and Austin too.
Mm-hmm.
How was it growing up with Austin playing against him?
Well, I'll tell you a story. So, Coach Rogers likes for us to play the boys in high school. So I remember I was a freshman and my brother was a senior. Well, for some reason, we thought it was a good idea for, Austin to play against us in practice one time, and of course he was guarding me. Oh, I was humbled real quick because I was dribbling it up and he picked my pockets every time I came down the floor. So I was like, well, that's just making me better because now I got to protect the ball. So I was humbled real quick.
He definitely didn't take it easy on us at all, so that helped us.
Coach Rogers was definitely big on wanting to play the boys.
Yeah, he was.
I can remember we'd be like tired from practice and we'd have our shoes in our hand walking out and he's like, come scrimmage, go put your shoes back on,
Yeah.
come scrimmage.
Oh,
and we
yeah.
would play the girls all the time. And I think it made y'all better.
It did.
for sure.
It really made us better. It made us tougher and more physical because, I mean, with girls, like, you're going to be physical, but with the guys, you've got to be even 10 times more physical. And I think that really helped us when we got into games because we were more physical with our opponents, and they didn't know how to respond to that.
We were playing against tougher competition that made us ready for the games,
Yeah.
I feel like. So.
Did you all ever do any practicing against boys in college? Because I know I just seen like where the WNBA, I think it was the Los Angeles Sparks or somebody was having tryouts for male practice players.
Yeah, we actually had male practice players that came in and practiced with us at least 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah, I did that at Tech. When I first went to Tech, I played on the girls team,
Yeah.
and it was fun. Me and Sam did that, and I was going to be one of my questions. I was going to ask y'all if y'all did that. So it's just like guys that go to school there that don't play,
and
but they played like in high school.
Yeah, and it was some of the JV boys that
of
helped.
the college team too.
Yeah.
Sweet.
How was the boys team in your all's time there? Were they pretty good too?
Yeah, they had a lot of success.
Yeah. So I was the boys team, and y'all have these signs, right? And you like. I'm trying to figure it
put
out.
the pat head
you put
on.
So I noticed they would take pictures of that, and it seemed like the boys had a lot of wins too. So that's kind of piggybacking off Grant.
So every time we won, we got a Patriot head and we stuck it on the poster, and it was for Love the Logo because we're trying to get. So our whole our school.
We have this
saying is called One Big Team.
Yeah.
So like every sport does this at our University of the Cumberlands after you win, and you just get a pat head and you place it on there, and we honestly just see who has the most like pat
It's
heads.
like a competition.
Yeah, but of course we're one big team, so everyone supports each other.
Yeah.
But it's just fun because after your win, you're hype, and then you go place it on there, and you just get hype with your team. So
Right. So did the boys make the national tournament at all?
Yes, they did. They made it to the Sweet 16?
Sweet 16.
Yeah, they got
Oh,
beat
really?
first round, but they actually got a new coach when we started college. I think he came in with us, and he's done a good job with his program too.
Was Cumberland, was that always where you all had planned on going, like your senior year of high school, or was that always where you were going to go, or was there some other teams that were seriously considered?
Yeah. Well,
UConn. You just
yeah,
turned
of
them
course,
down.
UConn, Tennessee.
Yeah. We had to let them down easy. But so junior year, of course, it was kind of a hard year because COVID hit, so like recruiting was kind of weird, but we always knew we wanted to play together. Like that was just our one thing. Like we wanted to play college basketball together, and we had a few offers, and then we went and visited University of the Cumberlands, which we had a friend that was actually playing up there at the time, so we went up with her to play open gyms. Well, our first ever visit to University of the Cumberlands, we committed that day. So, like, we just knew. Like, once we stepped on campus, talked to the coaches, like, got involved with the girls, like, we knew that's where God wanted us to be because we just had peace, and we prayed about it for a while. And, like, once you know, you just know, and it's been the biggest blessing of our life. Mm-hmm.
Just as soon as you showed up there, you fell in love and just felt that sign. It just felt right.
It
So now tell the truth. Did they just write you a big NIL check or what?
Under the
But speaking of NIL, you all had some NIL deals.
Yeah. We actually had an NIL deal with the local pizza restaurant. It's called the Brick Oven. If you use our code #TwinBuckets, you get 15% off your meal. And in
Dude.
exchange for that, we get a 1 free meal each week. So that's pretty awesome.
That's
Well,
awesome.
that's,
Yeah.
that's nice. And
Yeah, it's awesome. And the people there are the best
Super
people
nice.
ever.
Yeah.
And all we had to do was just post it on our social media and then put our hashtag and tag them and stuff. But
That's it.
yeah, they just wanted to get the students involved on campus to come eat at the Brick Oven because it's right downtown from the campus. So
And also, our school just launched this app, Open Doors, or they just started getting.
we're trying to catch up to NCAA. the
They're
NIL
like partnering
deals,
with
yeah.
this app called Open Doors, and actually, this shirt right here, it has Monday on it, and so we each get our. I don't know how to explain it, but each athlete on University of the Cumberlands
has their
their
own
own store. And so say you bought from my store, I get a certain percentage of that money that you paid for it.
okay, so it's
So-
like custom merchandise to you all.
Yeah.
So do
Yeah.
you two have the same store?
No. I wish we had a combined
Yeah.
because they're like, which one do we buy for? You
So-
know?
We just want to buy one that says Monday Twins.
Yeah.
Yeah, you all need a twin
yeah.
store.
Yeah.
That you can make some cool stuff out of that.
So our
Just split the
family,
money.
our family would show up to games with 1/2 0 and 1/2 24 on it.
Yeah.
Never both, but it's cool though.
So speaking of, people supporting you and buying, your merch and things like that, talk about family support and fan support. Clarkrange is by far one of the best supporting systems in the whole state of Tennessee.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how small of a town or how small of a school or how big, whatever. We have the best fans and
do.
the best support.
We do.
And it seemed like a lot of people traveled up that way to see y'all. And like I told y'all that story back last summer, I have coaches come up to me and they're like, oh, is that the Monday Twins? You know them? I'm like, yeah. Like I've been around them all my life, They're like, oh, they're awesome. Can I go talk to them? So, you have a lot of support. So just kind of talk about how that's helped y'all through your high school and college career.
Yeah, high school, of course, Clarkrange has the best fan base that anybody could ask for. And we had a lot of family that has traveled many miles to watch us play, even family friends, even friends that, we didn't even know they'd show up to games and we'd and talk to them after, It's just a blessing. We're so thankful we had so many supporters over the years. But we had a family that has traveled with us since 3rd grade Lady Tigers. We'd play tournaments in Pigeon Forge and then just all over the state, just wanting to try to get better. And then when we got to college, it's of course, nothing's like the Clarkrange atmosphere. The Clarkrange fans are just great. But when we got to college, of course, people thought it was pretty far, but it's only an hour and 30 from Clarkrange. So we always had our family there, and we had a lot of friends wanting to come to watch. And I think it was our senior night. We had over 60 people there from Clarkrange, and just coming to
Yeah,
support
we didn't
us.
even know half those people
Yeah.
were coming, so it was just.
It
I
was-
just want to
it's
say,
amazing.
I was gonna come to that game, but I had a game that night because I was talking to Austin and he was like, "It's our senior night and stuff." I was like, "I want to go, I want to
Yeah.
go watch," but we ended up having a game that night.
Yeah.
So,
But
sorry.
just playing basketball and seeing them up there in the stands is just the best feeling ever
Yeah.
because you're playing for your team, you're playing for yourself, but you're also playing for your family.
Right, and it's got to
friends.
mean something to
It
be
does. It means
an
a
hour and a
lot.
half from home, and you look up there and you see 60 people.
Yes.
Yeah.
60 people took time out of their day to drive an hour and a half there and an hour and a half home
Yeah.
just to watch you play basketball. So,
And some of our teammates were like, "Oh my gosh, y'all had so many people there."
did y'all
it
say
was just-
y'all don't get it? You don't understand. You just don't understand.
But they don't realize how small of a town we come from.
Right.
Which we have some people from smaller towns too, but we're definitely one of the smaller areas that we've came from. So.
Right.
They didn't realize you were local legends.
I seen a link the other day, and it was top 10 hardest places to play in the state of Tennessee, talking about basketball.
seen that, yeah.
And we were number 2.
Yeah.
It was I don't know, I can't remember who number 1 was because
Yeah.
I was probably that's they shouldn't be number 1. We should be number 1.
Yeah.
But they were like, oh, on senior night they throw toilet paper on the floor. That's crazy, But I just thought that was cool that we were on
That
there,
is
and
cool.
rowdiest, one of the rowdiest schools for high school basketball, and it's true, it really is.
You ever had us signing autographs or anything?
We actually did in college, yeah. We had some. Well, we like to host Education Day, where the local schools come to watch us play a day game. They get to come in, and it's free to come to our games. So the kids was they filled up the stands, and you couldn't even hear your coach talking. It was so loud in there. But it is it was the best time ever because we would just score a layup and they'd go
They'd
nuts.
scream, yeah.
They'd
Yeah.
scream and we're so happy. And then once after the game, we would walk up and greet them and high five them and give them hugs, and they think it's the coolest thing. And honestly, that's just a heart feeling like it's just like
Because we were there one day.
Yeah.
We were one of those kids sitting in the stands. Oh, I want to play college basketball.
Right.
So it's cool, like kind of giving back to them and like giving them hope.
It sounds like y'all's college is like awesome with stuff like that.
It is.
Like, y'all have these cool little traditions that you do, and then like bringing those kids in. That sounds like it's awesome.
is
Awesome experience.
They do really good involving the community and supporting like all of the sports teams.
Because Williamsburg is a small place too.
I was gonna say it's a smaller place, got a little old timey downtown area and things like that. You've got Williamsburg School, and then Whitley County. That's when I texted y'all that day. I was at summer camp. That's like 20 minutes down the road.
Not even that.
I don't think it's 20
like
minutes,
10, 15.
Yeah, right. So you've got those two schools, and that's really about it, high school wise.
Yeah, and then Corbin's right up the road, and then of course y'all have heard about South Laurel and North Laurel.
South Laurel has a good high school.
Yeah,
girls
so they're
team.
about 45 minutes away. So like everything's like pretty local.
Did you have any girls on your team from the area?
We had a girl for a few years, and then but not. We've got a girl coming in this year that's from Corbin. So
we have 2 local girls,
and
too,
then,
one from Williamsburg and
from
one
Williamsburg.
from Corbin.
Yeah.
Sweet. So talk about your teammates. Where are they from?
So coming in, we had a lot of Tennessee girls. Like half was literally Tennessee and half was Kentucky. So it's pretty cool.
So you can imagine that.
Oh, yeah. So our coaches were good to let us do competitions of Tennessee girls over here against the Kentucky girls.
Right.
So like we always sung Rocky Top when we won. So that's pretty sweet.
Right. That's what we was talking about before we got on the air here. We was saying, me being a Kentucky fan down here, everybody gives me crap. And then y'all go up there and y'all are like the only Tennessee fans because everybody's bleeding blue up there.
Yeah. But no, we were so like fortunate this year because this senior year, like, you want to go out with like the best like group of people you can. And I can like genuinely say that like these girls has been like the biggest blessing ever because everyone supported each other and like we really like had a great time together.
The team chemistry was insane. Like we all loved each other. We wanted what's best for each other and for the team. So it was just a blessing getting to be a part of that team, especially our senior year of college.
Yeah,
So
that's how you know you're doing it right, and your coach is doing it right, and y'all are doing it right as teammates. That's awesome.
And the biggest thing that was my favorite part of this year is because it's very rare to see college teams worship God together. So like we like to go to our local churches around and just like be involved, and we actually sung like for two churches as a team, like sung for them. Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah,
That's
it was awesome.
yeah, because we have some good singers on our team.
Yeah, we do.
We were kind of the backup.
Yeah, we
but-
were the backup singers, but we had some lead singers. That
Who's the better singer out of you two?
Probably her. She's more confident.
I just
She's got a louder mouth. Too.
yeah, I did.
So your dad's a preacher, obviously. Did you ever bring any of your girls to your church?
Yeah, whenever we were playing MTSU, we of course like the church is the halfway spot. So like we Coach Reeves let the team come to church, and we
Oh, your coach and everything.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, like our
That's
coach. Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
He's the one that kind of got it. Like,
yeah. Like all
Organized?
together,
Yeah.
and he's the one that like really pushes for us to be involved with the local churches, and that's one thing we were so fortunate about. Like our our head coach and our 2 assistant coaches were very like good Christian people, and like we're at a Christian school, so of course like it's normal, like it's pushed,
Right.
and like that's one thing that I really respect them is they really recruit. They try to recruit.
Yeah. Like they want us to succeed on the basketball floor, but it's more like who you are as a person. We want to be push you to be better people. So that
means something.
It means a lot.
And it helps on the basketball court.
Yeah,
I
it
don't care what
does.
anybody says.
Yes, it
things,
really
the little
does.
things like that, they
it
matter.
really does. And I think that's why we've had so much success over the years because they do push that.
Right.
That's
So
what
I'd say-
me and Hunter's talked about that before. How like in high school sports, even if you're not winning games or you're not the best player or whatever, it's still good in other aspects of life just to be on a team like that and get that team chemistry and that kind of be like a family.
Right.
Because it really is a sisterhood.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's what we would say with the huddle. We'd go sisterhood on through. And then we got to the point where we were saying family because it really is a family up there.
It became a family. So I'd say everybody was fellowshipping with y'all
Oh,
that day
yeah.
at church.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I feel like to lead to success on the court, you have to have that. You've got to become a family.
Yeah. You really do.
So one of the questions I was going to ask you, which I'm sure I know the answer to it from what y'all have said so far, is there anything you would have done different any path you would have took? Would you have done anything different?
No, there ain't nothing.
No, you don't regret any
No, I
decisions
don't
you
regret
made.
nothing. No.
That's awesome.
I don't
love
regret
to hear that.
nothing.
I figured that was gonna be your answer, but
How talk a little about the transition going from high school into your college years, and because of course you all are stars in high school, but there's a lot of people who are stars in high school and they don't pan out at the next level, but you all were able to become stars at the next level too.
Yeah, you definitely get humbled when you become a freshman in college because, like our coach always told us freshmen, you were probably the best player on your high school team, but when you get to college, everybody is the best player. So, like, you have to work harder, and it really is a humbling experience. But our motivation, we've always wanted to be the best player and be the best player on the floor. So we always motivated each other and try to become the best.
Yeah, so the transition from high school to college, it's like everyone's bigger, faster, stronger. Yeah. So, like, clearly everyone was bigger than us, but, like, we had to work on, like, getting stronger and faster because that's, like, how we, like, beat our opponents. But Kaylee's always been my biggest competitor, so, like, we always went to the gym and competed against each other. So, like, we each made each other better. But, like Kaylee said, everyone's good in college. So I think what kind of made us different is that we worked so hard for it, and we wanted to be the best on the floor and, like with our team and with, like, everybody we were playing against.
it's just a mindset.
Just a mindset.
You have to have that
Yeah.
mindset. You all, young people, girls, guys that are listening to this, you're inspiring me right now because I mean it's true. It's the mindset that you have to have. I fully.
And a lot of
believe
people
that.
don't have that anymore.
They don't. They think, okay, I come to practice, 2-hour practice, I'm getting better at basketball. Okay, but Kassie and Kaylee are staying 2 more hours after practice, so they're getting better.
Yeah, you got to have the mindset that there's always somebody out there that's outworking you.
Yes,
outworking,
yes, always. And even if you are outworking everybody in your district or everybody in your conference, it doesn't matter. You still have to have that same mindset. And it seems silly. Sometimes my boys laugh at me and stuff, and I'm like, guys, if you laugh about it, then you're not going to get to that next level, or you're not going to win a district championship or whatever it is you're shooting for. But if you take me seriously, and then you're like, I got to get in the gym, you're going to see results.
You're going to see results. That's the truth. Like, you can really see, you can really tell who works hard and who doesn't because, like, it will pay off in the long run because, like,
they'll stand out.
It will stand out, yeah. And a lot of people don't see the after hours of the work you put in. So, like, whenever you play, the 2 hours they're watching you, that's when it's going to show.
Right.
So.
And that's what I think, talking about, like, stars on the high school level, especially at single A, you can go out at single A and be very talented player and not have to work as hard, and you can still go out there and be a star. But when you get to college, if you got that same work ethic and you're just trying to rely on your talent, somebody out there is going to beat you.
That's the truth.
And you're playing girls that are from 4A schools, 3A schools,
Yeah.
Bigger schools from high school that are now in college.
And older.
Yeah. I mean,
girls.
y'all were, which your height never bothered you, but y'all were always shorter.
Always.
Yeah, and I mean, you got girls that are you probably played against girls that are 6'4", 6'5".
We
And
actually have a girl on our team that's 6'4".
Yeah.
So,
right.
yeah.
So I mean, that's got to be a huge adjustment.
Yeah.
And
One
like,
thing I wanted to ask about that, sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
But one thing I wanted to ask about that while we were on it is being shorter like that. I was just so impressed at your all's rebounding. I mean,
heart over height, right?
That is the truth.
how do you get so many rebounds when there's so many tall players out there?
Kaylee's the rebound queen, so let her answer this one.
It's funny. I love seeing people's reactions like, how are you getting this many rebounds when you're 5'4" on a good day? But it's just the ball's there. Go get the ball. Like, it's just heart over height, honestly.
And you have to want to rebound.
You want
too.
to, yeah. And I mean, rebounding gets second opportunities, so, like, that's my mindset.
That wins games.
Yeah,
That's one of the
exactly.
little things that wins games.
Exactly.
But y'all have been short all your life.
Always.
And
So you just had to learn.
Your family's very short
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
so height was never a part of your family. I think I said this when I was on the podcast with Grant. I was like, yeah, our senior year we were 6'4", 6'5", 6'4", and then Austin was like 5'3", 5'4".
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, everyone's always, like, told us we're I mean, they would say, like, y'all are too short to play college basketball. You're too
Right.
small. You're not strong enough. But honestly, my mindset growing up, I never compared myself to anybody that was taller than me. Like, that never once crossed my mind, like, they're taller than me, they're better. No, like, that, I never put that down. Like, I never made that, like, I don't know, like it always made me want to play harder.
Yeah, just play harder.
Yeah,
I mean, I can remember y'all being in like 5th and 6th grade or 7th grade.
Yeah.
And at the James C. Hale tournament or whatever it was, even in high school, and it's just like no fear. Like you're
No
playing
fear.
against girls that are bigger than you, and then these girls are looking at their coach like, Coach, I thought we could handle them, but like I don't know what to do. You know what I mean?
And
So it
that's
just
the
never
thing.
bothered y'all.
No, like I've always loved the competition about it. Like I'm like, there's a challenge, I'm going to take.
Yeah, it's like
you
a
know?
motivation.
Yeah.
You think I'm too short? Well, I'll show you.
I'm gonna show
Yeah.
you. That's exactly right.
There's actually a funny story. When we were playing AAU, we were 7th or 8th grade. I think 8th grade. And of course, we were still little and like we were tiny. But like Dad was coaching our Lady Tigers team. It
We
was just
probably had like 5 people on the
5
team.
people on team.
The Fab Five.
The
right?
Fab Five, yeah. And so we were playing in Pigeon Forge in a tournament, and we were playing up. I think we were playing against sophomores. So before the game, the other team's coach came up to my dad and said, "Yeah, we'll take it easy on y'all. Like we'll
Love
play
that.
zone, blah blah
Love
blah." At halftime, we were kicking their tail, and so they just didn't know what hit them because like looking in at us, they're like, they're little, like this ain't gonna be no competition.
Right.
And then bam, we hit them, and they didn't know what.
What
to
did the
think.
coach say after that?
He was just giving Dad
Yeah.
respect. Like, I'm sorry I looked down
Yeah.
on y'all. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Should have never doubted you.
Never doubt. That's been the story of our life.
So,
yeah.
talk about your dad as a coach. Obviously, he coached y'all. He coached Austin too. But did he have any sort of favoritism towards y'all?
No.
I don't think he did. I really don't. I think
No.
I shout out to Shane Monday.
Yeah.
I think he was an awesome coach. He coached me in middle school and just a great guy, motivational. I just love the way he acts on the bench. I try to incorporate stuff like that when I'm coaching too. So talk about that. Just treating you all just like regular
Oh
players.
yeah, you wouldn't have known he was our dad if you didn't know us.
Right.
And he never treated us any differently from some like other kids. And he probably pushed us harder, honestly. But
Yeah, he was great. Like, he
Yeah.
was the best. Like, sir, whenever I was younger, I was a little hothead. Like, he had
to correct
He
that.
had to calm me down a little bit. But I'm so thankful because, like, when you're not in the right mindset, like, you're not going to perform.
And you need that. A
Yeah,
good coach
yes.
would fix that, and a good player
Yes.
will be coachable and correct
yeah,
that.
that's the thing. That was one of Dad's biggest things. You were going to be coachable.
Yeah, we're not gonna
if
play.
you're having a bad attitude, he will not deal with that.
Yeah,
And I mean, I respect that a lot.
Yeah, and Dad, like Kaylie said, like you would never known that we were his daughters because he really did push us harder than anyone. But like looking back, I'm so thankful he did because that's how we became the players we are because he did push us so hard. And like just something about Dad that I really hope to incorporate in my coaching in the future is he fires your team up.
Yes.
Like he brings the
Yes.
energy. And it's funny because when he's coached volleyball the past 2 years, I forgot how long I'm like, can you get a technical in volleyball because he is firing
He's
his
about to
team
get
up.
one.
I'm
I don't think they've ever seen a coach jump up and down like he did.
Right.
But like I respect him
Yeah.
so much as a
Me
coach
too.
just because I want to be just like him.
Well, I love that, and you know, a lot of people in Sunbright are like, man, Coach Crouch is just so animated. He's up and down the floor, and you know, he's just into it. And I'm like, man, I just think of guys like that. You know, Coach Monday was just, and it fired y'all
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
and
it
made
did.
y'all
You're not even half as animated as
No,
he is.
and I'm pretty animated, but he's just on another level. And my favorite Coach Monday just moment or what he does is he knows that he's going to spit whenever he's yelling at you.
So he brings up his shirt.
He'll put his shirt over his nose and he'll say, Kassie Kaylie, you need to be this isn't it, because he knows he's going to be spitting everywhere. And that is just so funny to me when he does that because you're just getting a chewing and you're just sitting there taking it. And he's got his shirt above his
like, how
nose.
can you take him serious?
Yes, but I love that.
Yeah.
I've always had a lot of respect for him, and for him to be able to be your dad and get y'all in the gym and stuff, that just helped y'all along the
It
way.
definitely did, yeah.
Yep.
And I know you can relate, Hunter. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But just of him firing you up, I know you as a player, like how you played for him, and like you're a coach now. You can tell that it makes your players want to win more for you.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Especially when you're coachable.
Especially when you're
Yes.
coachable, and that's just something that I respect so much because if your coach ain't fired up, how's your team going to be fired up?
Exactly. It starts with him. He's
starts with the leader.
your point guard or your best player is the leader of your team. But at the end of the day, your coach is your leader
Yes.
of your team, and it starts with him. You know, if your pregame speech is boring, you're going to play boring.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of the way I look at it. So I try to bring the energy. They start to bring the energy because I'm bringing it.
Yep.
Yes.
Hunter had that one speech over there on the bench in the
Oh gosh,
in the district
yeah. Greg
tournament.
comes to a game. He always sits across the gym at Sunbright because we're on the other side. So he comes to the district tournament. He's right behind me, and my mom's there, and everybody's there, and I'm just like, all right, they're just gonna see how I do things, and I'm just I'm just getting them fired up. You know, we're so close to a district championship.
He had me fired up over there. I was ready to go.
But you played for Coach Monday too in middle school, didn't you?
Yeah,
you were on
yeah,
the
for a
middle school
little
team.
bit.
Yeah,
For a
talk
little
about
bit.
your experience with Coach
No,
Monday.
I mean just like you said there. I mean he'd get fired up and run up and down the bench.
Yeah, he would.
And he didn't have no coach's box.
No, there was no coach's box. He'd tell the referee, I don't have a coach's box. You're just going to tee me up. But what's funny, too, about Coach Monday is if you ever go watch him preach, that's the same way. He's the same way. He's just like whenever he's coaching. And I love it.
Yeah. He's actually fell.
Oh, yeah. I believe that. I believe
Has
that.
he ever failed coaching?
Probably.
He probably has.
tripped over a chair or a player's
He
foot.
is a little clumsy too.
I think it's great that he and it, like you said, it helped lead to your success that he treated you just like any other player, because there's a lot of parents who coach their kids out there who favor them, and it really just ruins them. I don't know.
It ruins the team.
Yeah, it definitely ruins the team, but it ruins them in the long run. Like when, they get a coach, I guess it's kind of hard to get a middle school coach.
Right.
So they just get a parent to coach, and they'll just want their player to shoot every shot or whatever. And it really ruins the team, of course, that year, but it ruins them down the road too. And it just messes up their whole development, I feel like.
And when they get a coach that's it's not their dad or their mom,
They
they're
don't
gonna
know what to do.
Yeah, they're going to coach them just like any other player,
Yeah.
and then they're like, "Well, my dad never did it. That's because I'm not your dad."
Yeah.
So you're going to do this, and
Yeah.
this, and that's a hard thing for people that have their dad. Oh, I've coached him since he was little, but your dad has coached y'all since you were little, but he never treated y'all that way. It was just even.
And that's the thing. I'm so thankful we had a good like our dad coaching us, like a good experience with the father and daughter like relationship coaching wise, because a lot of times, like even in college, like people will come up and be like, I don't know how your dad ever coached y'all. Like I could not have my parent coaching me.
Right.
But that's the thing, like Grant said, like sometimes when your parent that's a coach treats you differently than the other kids, it's like they're not teaching you how to work hard for your success.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like in the long run, it's going to hurt them, because when you do get the same coaching that everybody else does, like what are you going to do? You're going to fall? You're going to quit? Because when it gets hard, because it can't be given to you.
Or on the flip side of that, they're too hard on you.
Yeah.
And then they're coaching you on the floor harder than anybody else in the team. That's why it ruins the team. And then you're in the car ride home and you played bad.
Yeah.
You failed him and what he wanted you to do, or her, your mom, whatever. And he's letting you hear it on the way home, all the way home. And then he holds grudges for the rest of the week and he's mad at you. I mean, that's hard for
And then that burns a lot of kids out.
burns out. It leads to burnout 100% of the time. It usually does.
And then sorry.
No, you're good.
But and then also on the ones the parents who favor their kids, it burns the other kids on the team out, because they're like, well, why am I even playing? Why am I even trying? I think they lose a lot of kids that way too.
Right. Well, this is great talk, because this leads me right into this. You two don't have any kids. You're just ready to coach.
Yeah.
We need that at the middle school level or the high school level. A lot of middle schools nowadays, it's like nobody wants to do it. All right, well, we'll just put little Johnny's dad, he'll coach. That doesn't lead to good things like we've talked about. So, to have two young girls that have graduated college that had successful careers, like that's the kind of people we need, that are eager to coach and eager to be a part of a program. That's what we need in the basketball world right now, especially at the school levels.
See, that's the thing. When I was looking, like weighing my options on what career path I wanted to go on, I was just thinking, because I didn't always choose education and coaching. But then when I was in college, I realized, like, basketball's my life. Like, I can't not just be a part of it.
Sound like
and
me.
that's, and, like, that's all I've ever known. So I'm like, no, like, I want to be in the school system. I want to coach, because I want to give back to the kids. Like whenever I was growing up, I thought Clarkrange Lake Buffaloes were the biggest thing in my life.
All you wanted to do was be a Buffalo.
I just wanted to be
That's
a Buffalo.
it. Yeah.
So, like, coming back home, that's what I inspired to do, is, like, push kids to get better, because I feel like now, like, they're just throwing anybody in the coach,
Yep.
And, like, I want to be the difference of, like, no, like, I have this winning mentality that I want to get kids better and I want to win,
Yep.
So, like, that's what I'm looking forward to doing.
And it'd be good too, because we can say we've been there. We've been in your shoes. We've had hard days. We've had good days. But during those hard days, you can't give up. You
Right.
either work harder or you fall. So I think that's a big lesson too. And like younger kids, if we did coach middle school or elementary, I think putting those fundamentals in early would definitely help, because anymore, you just kind of see kids not have those fundamentals that they need.
Or
So-
shoot with their left hand on a left hand layup.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the thing. Like when parents come in, they're thinking, "I've got to win, so let's work on our plays." And they're coaching 5th and 6th grade. Okay, yeah, you want to win, but ultimately you're taking this job knowing winning is not a priority. I'm developing them. They're supposed to be developed so when they get to high school, that's my job. Winning is just fun.
Yeah.
We just do that because we've developed and gotten better.
Yeah, middle school basketball doesn't matter in the the grand scheme of it.
Yeah, you want to win.
Yeah, you want to win the
and it builds
championship.
confidence.
Anything you're doing,
Of course,
but
of course.
just your overall player development,
Right.
is what you're really wanting.
Yeah, just like fundamentals. Like, you walk into some middle school gyms now and it's like, all right, run 1. Okay, now let's run 2. No, you did it wrong. Run it again. Instead of walking in and like they're doing ball handling for 5 minutes. Now they're doing shooting drills. Now they're doing closeouts, slide, different things, working on man defense. They don't do those things.
Yeah.
They just worried about winning, but that's the wrong mentality.
Yeah.
Or you get a parent who has a kid who's probably not really that good, and they want to do something that they just want to place how it suits their game, even though if it ain't the
Suits
best
their
for
kid's game?
Yeah, suits their kid. Like say you have a slow kid in 7th grade who can't play man against anybody.
So you're gonna zone.
Yeah, you're gonna run a zone the whole time, and then when that kid gets to high school, he ain't gonna know how to run man.
Right, exactly. And you see that a lot. You see that so much, and then people always say, well, that's because so-and-so's parent was coaching or whatever, and it's just very common.
Yeah. And a big thing for me is if I did coach the younger kids, I want them to love the game. Like, I don't want them just to show up because my parents made me or my friends are playing. I want them to love the game because ultimately that's what you play for. You're not going to play a game that you don't like.
Yeah, if you're showing up, just like, oh, man, practice, like, why are you here? You don't have to be here. Like, you get to be here.
Yes.
You're blessed to be here.
Yes.
This is an opportunity for you to do something fun after school. Like, just leave if you don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And I don't like seeing that. And I can honestly say my guys, like, I've had a little bit to do with it, but they love basketball now, and they want to be in the gym.
And that's the thing that's awesome about you is, like, I love how you can relate to the boys, the high school boys.
Yes.
Like, I think that's a great thing. And, like, that's what I inspire to do, too, because I can be like, I've been in your shoes. And, like, if I did coach middle school or, like, younger kids, it's like, listen, I'm from a small town. Everyone didn't think that I could go chase my dreams and play college, but I would be like, I have been in your shoes. Like, I had this big dream and I chased it, and I didn't let no one tell me any different.
Right.
And I was going to work hard and work for what I always inspired to be, and like I got there,
And
so
you
like
had a
you can
stud
too.
twin sister to do
Yeah,
it with you too.
and I had a +1 this whole time by my side, but yeah. So,
Players
awesome.
definitely respect that more when you've been there and done
Yeah.
that before versus somebody who's just, Joe Schmo off the street
But-
that,
and
that
like-
comes to coaching. Like all you all played college, a high school player is going to look at that and they're going to automatically know that you know what you're talking about, or you wouldn't have got there.
And a lot of times, like 70-year-old man, he's been there a while and he's done a great job. But like, y'all are young, I'm young, so I know the lingo. I get on TikTok.
Yeah,
I know, I know what the kids think is funny.
Hunter knows what cringe and glazing and
I know
and
all the
that's
terms.
about.
I know what the word "riz" means, and so I can joke around with them boys and see them, talking to a girl in the hallway and be like "riz" when I walk by, and they're like, "Coach, stop." But that's just, it means something.
Yeah.
They buy into your program more because if it's an old man, they have no idea what's going on. All they know is basketball.
Yeah.
But you have to have that relationship with them outside of it. Now, don't get me wrong, we're serious about practice,
Yeah.
but when we're outside of it, you have to cut up and be buddies with
Yeah.
them, and you have that fine line. But
They don't look at you like a grandpa.
no, or like a father figure or like a dad. It's just like, man, that's why I tell them, I'm like, I don't want to. Usually, your coach is like, oh, he's a father figure, but
Yeah.
I want to just be like another brother of the family that
Yeah.
we've built. And that's kind of the way
They
I go about
respect
it.
you, but they're cool with you.
Right, and they know not to cross certain lines because I am the coach, and
Yeah.
that's kind of y'all getting into coaching too. One day, y'all are going to do great at that because y'all are young and the terms and the
Yeah,
stuff that the
yeah.
lingo that the
Yeah.
kids use nowadays, and it's going to help you out a lot, and girls will buy into that.
And that's the thing. I actually got 3 degrees, for my bachelor's, but one of them was coaching, and it's helped me so much because, like, it's taught me how important it is to form relationships with your players. Like, you've got to build the trust and like the bond between a player and coach so they respect you. And like, that's like one of the biggest things that I plan to do. And like, yeah, you can, like you said, cut up and joke with them, but like once you are stepped out on that floor, it's coach and player, and you're going to, like, you know what I mean?
Right. Well,
like,
we have a thing called, and we talk about it before every first practice, it's called the 2-hour rule. And if somebody starts goofing off during practice, all I say is 2-hour rule, and they know. We have, 24 hours in the day. For those 22 hours, if I see you, we can cut up and laugh and joke. But the 2-hour rule is 2 hours. That's it. Those
I
2
love
hours,
that.
we're not buddies. You're a player,
Yeah.
I'm coach. You're going to do what I say, or you're not going to play. You're going to give me all you got. I'm going to give you all I got every single day for those 2 hours. And that's it.
I love that.
And that's just kind of what we've went by. And anytime somebody's kind of goofing off or getting away from that, we just say 2-hour rule.
Yeah.
And
Did
they
you
just
come
go.
up with that?
I
Or
did.
you get it?
No, I actually did. I actually did.
I might have to
I
steal
did.
that from
Yeah.
you
I
one of these
I
days.
mean, I'm not trying to sound like
He's
I'm
going to
just,
have a coaching
like-
clinic here before long.
I'm Coach K or Coach Cal or anything, but it's just something I came up with. I'm like, guys, all I need is 2 hours from you, 2 hours a
I
day.
like
That's
that.
it. So
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah, it works. It works, and they know, and all I got to do, like, it. Sometimes when you start doing it and you enforce it, next thing you know, Kaylee's goofing off, and Cassie's like, Kaylie, 2-hour rule,
Yeah.
and Kaylee's like, okay, sorry, and she locks back in.
That's
That's just kind of how it goes. And when your players start doing that and they start enforcing the rules, and you just sit back and watch, I feel like that's when you know, like, hey, I'm getting through to these guys.
Yeah,
you know?
I love that.
Yeah.
Talking about coaching, are you all wanting to coach together, or would you like to both be head coaches?
Yeah, it's gonna be a dynamic
Yeah.
duo
That'd be
here.
nice.
Are you guys going to be a rivalry?
Are you gonna go like one rival school, you go to the other, and like, hey, we're gonna battle it out right here?
That'd be funny, but I think I'd be a good assistant coach to her,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
Yeah, I'd love to be a head coach. Like,
Yeah.
head coach is like my goal.
So one thing, obviously, like getting into the education, like if you want to be a head coach at the high school level, you got to work at the school.
Yeah.
So you got to get in education, and that's kind of your plan.
Yeah.
Now you are physical therapy.
No, I'm a guidance counselor.
So you're in
Yeah.
education.
Yeah.
Also, I swear Austin told me that you were in physical therapy. Were you physical therapy at one time?
I was.
She was.
I
Oh,
was at
you
one
were.
time. I was,
Okay.
but, I took one biology class. I said, yeah, this ain't for me. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in the master's for the school counseling program.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you, well then, I mean, I don't know. Y'all could both be head coaches. You're both gonna be at the school,
Yeah.
but I think nothing would make me happier than to see y'all both. Like, it doesn't matter who the heck y'all are both gonna be just together. So I mean, I would love to see y'all coach together.
Yeah.
I think that'd be awesome.
That'd be cool.
What about you, Grant? What would you like to see?
No, I think that'd be cool too. I don't know though. I think I would like to see a
That would be cool too.
a rivalry matchup. I think you are both very passionate about the game, so it would be cool to watch you all coach against each other.
That would.
We would probably have the same system though.
Yeah. So.
Cassie's like, I know what Kaylee's doing tonight. This is what we're
I
practicing.
know what she's gonna do.
And I know what you're thinking. Like,
See, that would make it a good battle though.
yeah, it'd
a
either
good
be
game.
like 100 to 100 or 0 to 0.
So you say you know what she's thinking. Okay, I know it's a cliche question, but talking about basketball, they always say twin telepathy. Is that right?
Yeah.
Do y'all have that on the court? Like
100%. Because I know. It's just a different feeling. Like, I wouldn't be half the player I was without her on the
Same
court
with
with
her.
me.
Yeah.
Like, whenever I get the ball, like, I know she's down the floor, and I just yank
We
the
just
pass.
kind of know where each other are.
Yeah,
and people,
you don't have to see it.
No,
Just
and
know.
people be like, "How did you do that? Like, how did you get that pass to her? Or like, how did you catch that?" It's just a twin thing.
Yeah.
That's all we say.
That's all we say.
Yeah.
We don't know.
So you've got it. Do you have it off the court too? Is there that twin telepathy?
Yeah, like usually in a room when someone's talking or something, and you're getting annoyed or something. We can just look at each other and be like,
And there's times where we're talking to somebody and we respond the same way at the same time.
And
We're
say
like,
the
oh my
same
gosh,
thing.
that's weird.
Yeah.
So do y'all still like wear the same clothes like twins do
I mean,
every
we
day?
kind of really are right
Yeah,
now.
they're definitely matching right now.
Yeah, for
and we
sure.
didn't even. So funny y'all say that because we sometimes we share an apartment too. Like, we have 2 other girls that lives with us, but we each have our own room. So like sometimes we walk out not knowing what we're wearing, what each other's wearing. We will put on the same exact outfit from head to toe.
Yeah.
We've done that multiple times this year. Yeah.
It's crazy. We're like, oh my gosh.
And like, who's going to
It's a twin.
change? I ain't
Yeah.
changing.
It's
Sometimes
a
we
twin
don't
thing.
change. We're
Yeah,
like,
we're
well,
just going to keep it. We're twins.
So obviously y'all have different classes. We'll talk about like what kind of classes are you taking as a guidance counselor in the master's
so
program?
in the master's program at the University of the Cumberlands, it's all online.
Oh,
So
wow.
we've not had in-seat class this whole year.
So you're just chilling in your apartment?
Yeah.
Or?
So, I mean, you'll do schoolwork online and then go to practice. So it's been pretty nice. But right now I'm in my classes, but I'm having to observe a school counselor up at the school. So that's basically all I'm doing right now.
Pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I will
classes
tell
aren't too bad, but they're getting a little harder.
I will tell you, our school counselor, she's great. She does a really good job. But, man, she is so busy.
Yeah.
Like, I just took a new job. I don't teach PE anymore. I'm the graduation coach.
Okay.
And she was kind of showing me some stuff and, like, kids walking in left and right, principal walking in left and right. And I'm like, you're busy.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I love it, though. She's
Yeah,
like,
when I'm observing it, it's busy.
Yeah, for sure.
But I love it, so
oh, yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
good. As long as you enjoy it, like, I enjoy what I do.
it's never boring. That's
exactly.
for sure.
It
Yeah.
keeps you going. The day flies by because you're always doing something. But and then in PE, you're observing PE.
Well, I'm actually getting my master's P through 12 PE and health and wellness, and then P through 5 any subject.
Right.
Elementary.
Well, that's good to have both of those.
Yeah, so I'm getting it just in case I can't find a job, one or the other, just to fall back on, because I'm like, I'm in college like right now and it's all online, and I'm like, I'm not going to want to go back to school like in the future. So I'm like, I'm trying to get it all done right now. So it's kind of the same as Kaylie. We have it online. So like, after games the next day, like if you want to sleep until 10 o'clock,
yeah.
we
Right.
can.
You can
But,
have that luxury.
yeah, so I'm also observing. I go into school and like observe PE teachers. I've observed a 5th grade math teacher. It's just whatever the class requires, and then I've had to observe some special education teachers, and just
Right.
to go along with my schooling that
Well,
is required.
I just have a love for PE, obviously.
I love
A lot of people, like, it's not disrespected, but it's just looked at like, oh, they're just rolling the ball out and stuff. But you've probably observed some good PE teachers. There are
yes.
some good PE teachers out there.
And I had a PE class in my undergraduate classes that I had to go in in seat for, and we actually this is when I first knew I absolutely love PE,
Right.
because my professor taught me the correct way that a PE class should be ran.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, actually there's a lot of stuff that goes into PE that
Yeah.
could really make it fun and beneficial.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, if you roll the ball out and just whatever, yeah, that's great. But if you teach these kids these skills and teach them how to
Yeah.
skip or how to hop, I mean, I know
Yeah.
it seems silly, but that applies to them whenever they
Yeah.
play sports, or that applies to them even if they don't play sports, if they're out hanging out with their friends and
Yeah.
they're playing something. I mean, this is like those little things, like you don't realize, like, that's what PE teachers
Yeah.
do. That's why this person knows how to skip, because they were taught that in
Yeah.
PE. And it's,
Yeah.
I don't know. I like seeing kids that they don't know how to do something, and then you make it through the end of the lesson
Yeah.
and they're the best one in the class at
Yeah.
it. And that just means a lot.
Yeah.
That's why you teach,
Talking about PE, which I don't know if it's like this now, you all can chime in on that. But I remember when we were in school, in like elementary school, we went to PE every day for
Yeah,
so
that's a sore
long.
subject for me.
And then, I mean, even as we got in like 7th and 8th grade, I guess they kind of took it away.
Yeah.
And I just feel like they've, of course, I know high school's different, but I feel like at those younger ages, they're going away from the physical education so
Well-
much, and it's just important to me, I think, as your regular education is your physical side of it, because a lot of kids, that's the only exercise they're
Yeah.
getting is what they do at
Sure.
school, because they're going home and they're just sitting around at home the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know, I would be a big supporter for having it every day, which
Yeah.
I know there's only so many hours in the
Yeah.
day, but I feel like that's just not valued enough anymore.
Well, the time is still there, but they've taken that time and they've applied it to different subjects and other classes to take. And that's great. Like, we do need to be focused on stuff so we can do well on our test, on our standardized testing. But, it did used to be that way, and it could still be that way. And some PE teachers are like pushing for that. And I'm a big advocate for it. Like you said, kids go home nowadays, and what do?
Yeah.
They're on TikTok.
Yeah.
They're on their phones.
phones.
They're on their
Yeah.
phone. They're playing video games. So that's the only exercise they get. And if you can get 20 minutes in, you can get a lot in. You can
Yeah.
exercise, learn a new skill. You can do a lot of things. But now, since I've been at Sunbright, we've went from having it every day in middle school and elementary to now it's every 3 days. And then now it's some classes only get it 2 days a week.
Yeah.
And it's just like the kids hate it. The kids are like, man, I miss coming to PE. I miss having PE.
Yeah.
So, I mean, kind of talk about the
Yeah.
places you've observed. What does their PE schedule look like?
Well, it's kind of like they have 1 week on, 1 week off. So,
Right.
it's like they have them for a certain period of time, but then they'll go to music class for a few weeks and then come back to PE for a few weeks. But I think they should like inquire every day. But that's just me. Like, I mean, I'm becoming a PE teacher, but like you said, like kids these days, like they're getting no physical activity, and like of course back home, like their parents ain't going to push them to like be active, you know.
Right.
So kids like PE class is the only time they can be active, and it's the only time they can learn new skills, like new motor skills, like growing up, like little kids, you know. That's some stuff that parents don't teach at home. So that's why I feel it's so important that like PE should be required, I think, like multiple times a week, because I don't know, it's just going to be beneficial for them in the long run. And like I had to do a lesson plan where of course my specialty was basketball, so like it was just cool seeing, because I'm like, younger kids, sometimes they don't get the opportunity to even be a part of a team, like a part of basketball. So like even just like showing them the fundamentals of basketball, like could get them to love the game, because sometimes their parents don't push it.
Well, and it's the same thing with like when you teach volleyball.
Yeah.
You teach flag football. You teach wiffle ball, baseball.
You're introducing a new sport and skill.
And if that kid's in 3rd grade and they never knew, like, oh, I could actually play this. Well, now when they get into 5th grade, they're like, I'm going to try it for the middle school baseball team. You know?
If they never got introduced to it, you never know what they could have been.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And if you're just rolling the ball out every day, then they're probably just grabbing a football, throwing it back and forth. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know how to properly throw a ball.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we
And
do.
that's
we
what
teach them
PE
how to do
teachers are supposed to teach them the
Yes.
proper way to do the skills.
And which we all like sports here, and I know sports ain't for everybody, but even the kids that don't like sports, they still need to be doing something, even if they're just walking around the gym.
Right.
I mean, you have to get up and move sometime throughout the day
Yep.
for a little while.
I agree. I mean, you need to be active, and they want you to get 60 minutes of, we call it moderate to vigorous activity. But, I mean, just like you said, just walking around, something. But if that kid doesn't go to PE that day, they're probably going to go home and do nothing. And obesity is a huge problem in America. And now it's in
It's
children.
more than ever in kids.
Yes.
And that's the thing. Like, also, like, I know in high school, like, there's, like, health and wellness teachers that are supposed to teach nutrition. But I think it should be introduced at an earlier age now.
There should be a health class.
There should be a health class in elementary school. Because, like, I mean, kids don't know what healthy food is. I mean,
especially when their parents don't feed them healthy food, you know.
Yeah, all the kid knows is what the parents bringing home for them to eat. So if the parents is bringing home junk, that's all the kids. I mean,
they're eating junk.
Yeah, that's all they're going to eat. They're not going to go to the store and get their own stuff.
Right.
And then when you're introduced to healthy lifestyle in high school, it's kind of a little too late, you know. I mean, it's never too late, but like
you don't have the knowledge.
Yeah, we could have been pushing it early on at an earlier age.
Well, that's like we had Landon Baldwin on the last podcast there.
Another future PE teacher.
Yeah, and he was talking about how he wished he had knew about nutrition and the training when he was younger, and because he's 6'8", he said what could have been of him, and I feel like that's for a lot of kids like that. Like if they could just get introduced to that at an earlier age, just a small bit, just plant a seed in them, it could really change their whole lives.
Yeah, like knowing what I know now, I would have changed a lot of my high school career. I would have ate different. I would have had a different mindset in the weight room and conditioning wise. But I was like, I'm young, my metabolism's high, I can eat whatever I want. But imagine if I would have worried about my protein intake and worried about eating meat and vegetables and drinking milk and just like the little things. I mean, what could have been, like Landon said.
And that was good. Like our college coach, Coach Reeves, he always made us eat just 3 hours before the game, and that like has really helped us because in high school we'd eat like 30 minutes or an hour before the game. You know what I mean? Like we didn't prioritize that.
No, in high school, we show up to the place and they're like, "Where's the concession stand?" And I'm like, "All right, it's over there." They come back with nachos and a thing of Airheads. And then they're sitting there, and then which I don't let them drink pop, so they're drinking like a lemonade or something. And I'm like, we're about to play an hour, and they're like, "Oh, it's fine." And I'm thinking, "Oh, I could do that too when I was in high school." But imagine if you had that 3 hour rule there. That
Hunter was out there stealing milks before games in high school.
Yeah, that's on the next podcast
from the cafeteria.
We've talked about that, stealing milk.
He's the milk thief, going out there on a full stomach of milk and throwing some dunks down.
But remember, Coach Powell, he wouldn't let us drink milk. He would always say, like when we would go to the Amico on the way to an away game, he's like, "Don't get no milk, don't get no Yoo-hoos, don't get no chocolate milk," because he's like, it bloats you. it'll slow you down. But so I guess there was a little bit of nutrition advice there in high school.
Getting off on nutrition, what do you all think about energy drinks? Hunter, he's so against energy drinks.
Please don't tell me, girls. Y'all are full of energy all the time. Y'all don't need caffeine.
No, and actually, our coach in college, like it was a rule we wasn't allowed to drink any caffeine. Like no pop, no energy drinks, no coffee.
Yes.
So like I really respected him for that too. Yeah. But personally, I'm not a big energy drinker. Like I'm not really for that, but
I'll drink some every now and then.
So my guys, when I first got the job, it was like our second practice or something, and I noticed my best player, he's walking in 15 minutes before practice. He's got a Pepsi and he's drinking it, and I'm like, okay. Afterwards, he pulls a Pepsi out of his bag after practice. He's drinking a Pepsi. Then I notice other guys are drinking pop all the time.
Yeah.
And I was never really big drinking pop in high school. So I'm like, no more pop. If I see you, you know what a 17 is. Obviously, y'all know side to sideline, 17. I'm like, if I see you drinking a pop, you're going to have to give me at least 3 or 4 17s.
Yeah.
And they're like laughing about it, joking. Well, somebody broke the rule. Made them run those 17s, and they were like, "Oh my God, coach ain't kidding!" Like I was like, "You're either not going to play for me, or you're going to run these 17."
Yeah.
And now, like they're like, "Oh, coach, I seen Levi. He was drinking a pop. I seen him drinking a pop." And they're showing me pictures, and I'm like, "If I don't see it, then I don't care.
Yeah.
But if you're around me, I don't want to see you drinking a pop." And energy drinks same way. Like girls on our girls team, they're drinking a Red Bull on the way to the game, and I'm like, have you not heard the stories of people like dying on the court from drinking energy drinks?
But they always have a heart condition or something before. There's a place for caffeine. Hunter, he's got to research some more caffeine.
There is. I have done the research. There is a place. Caffeine can be beneficial for you, for sure.
It's not just the caffeine. It's the other junk, which like we talked about before. They're coming out with a lot more cleaner energy drinks.
Right.
But like the rock stars or the Molly, I mean, they're junk, you know.
Yeah, but my
they got
thing
a bunch
is
of junk in them.
If you're 17 years old and you're playing on a high school basketball team, you have great metabolism more than likely. You don't need caffeine. You know, you shouldn't need it. No. But nowadays, a lot of these kids have bad sleeping habits, and they're like, "Oh, I gotta have it. I gotta get going," and they drink them every day. And I'm like, but you really don't need them. If you would get proper sleep and you would come into practice every day and work out, like you don't need that energy.
You don't need it.
But now
they just want it.
But I mean, if I'm going out there to play a basketball game, it wouldn't hurt to have a little bit boost. You know, Landon was talking about taking those energy chews, and
y'all remember those?
He scored 29 in one game, and then he had to have them every other game after that.
Yeah.
I told Landon, I said the energy chews, and then do y'all remember like the recovery ones? And they were like, this will fix your body after practice and stuff. Yeah, we used to love those. That was big.
There was actually some teams that we'd be warming up at University of the Cumberlands, and we'd look on the opposing team's bench. There would just be a bench full of energy drinks, and we were like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah, like, really? We was like, "Oh, that couldn't be us."
No.
So, are you big coffee girls, or
I am?
Kaylee is.
You like coffee?
Yeah. And a funny story about her is like if she needs to do homework, she'll drink one at 9:00 at night and grind on homework.
It actually affects me.
You stay up all night after that.
Yeah, you can't go to sleep.
That's when I do my best work, though. So
that's how I am. If I drink any like that Mountain Ops or an energy drink or something, if I drink it past probably 2 or 3 o'clock,
that's me.
I'll just be sitting there at midnight, just wide awake. Everybody's asleep, and I'm just sitting there wondering what to do.
Yeah, that's me. Yes.
Pee break?
Sure. If you need one.
Sorry, girls. I usually.
All right, we're back from Hunter's regular scheduled pee breaks.
Happens right at about an hour. We were right there at the hour. So
while we were off air there, we mentioned you all meeting Caitlin Clark. What was that like?
It was cool. I mean, she's the most famous female athlete in the world right now, so it was pretty cool meeting her.
Yeah, and our school, University of Cumberlands, like we usually get like it's for our leadership. I don't even know what you call it.
It's just an event every year. We have somebody.
That they have.
Yeah.
And actually, Drew Brees was here 2 years ago. So like and even Shaq was there. They brought Shaq.
Yeah.
So like they've had some awesome people come in and talk to us. And thankfully, this year was Caitlin Clark, and our coach led like really pushed to allow us to get a picture with her. So that was awesome to have a picture with, you know.
Well, do you know how they landed Caitlin Clark? Because, I mean, Drew Brees is great.
Yeah.
Our Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah.
But he's been out of the league for a while.
Yeah.
Shaq's obviously famous, but he's been out of the league for a while.
You can't put Shaq. Shaq's still more famous than Caitlin Clark.
Yeah,
no offense to Caitlin Clark, because she's one of the biggest things in the
He
world
definitely
right
is.
now. But
He definitely is. But like Caitlin Clark is like the face of women's basketball right now. So how did you think they got that?
Honestly, University of the Cumberlands, we have a great president, and he's actually
he's the
retiring this
best.
year,
Yeah.
which is very sad. But his name's Dr. Cockrum, and he really does so good with the school.
And he's very good with student athletes.
Yeah,
Right.
and so he just did his magic and somehow got her to come to a small town Williamsburg to.
Yeah, I'm not sure really how he got it.
he's got some connections.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
must
guess so.
have. Yeah.
to.
For sure.
Yeah.
What about-
So was the experience what you all thought it would be, or
So, well,
you could be honest.
you know,
you
as
you
a
can turn that mic if you need to.
Oh,
Is
okay.
it falling? You can tighten it up on the side.
gotcha.
On the other side is where you'll tighten that up. Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're good.
I noticed it falling there. I didn't want to interrupt you, but
No, you're good.
Gosh,
Is that
Cassie,
good?
We're gonna have to cut that out. Cassie.
Cut. Welcome back. No, but the experience meeting her, I was hoping to ask her a few questions, really be interactive with her.
Pick her brain a little bit.
Yeah, just be like, you're one of the greats. You really changed women's
sports.
basketball.
For sure.
You changed the game, put some respect on female sports, blah blah blah. But when we went to go take a picture with her, we couldn't even get a team picture because her agents were so strict and
If you look at our pictures, we can't even touch her.
We didn't even touch.
Wow.
So
It was more like a, hey, how are you?
yeah, so I can't say I spoke to her. I was like, hey, and she said, hey, back. So I'll take it. And then it was 1, 2, picture, you're done. Next person. So
Which
it was like,
I
bam,
understand, but
But she's probably more humble than that.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
her age.
they actually told us a story. She stopped their car to sign a little thing for this little fan. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
yeah, but
That's
she wasn't
good.
allowed to sign anything for
Yeah,
us.
so
see, you would think though, her agents would realize how much she has grew the women's basketball game, and let her kind of branch out more to take a team picture
Yeah.
with you all or whatever. Just to, I don't know. That would be, which her image is great anyway. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like that would be a good thing for your image.
Yeah.
And y'all might have a negative mindset on her now, but it may not. It wasn't even her. It was her agent.
Yeah.
So that's kind of aggravating. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like she would have been, if it was just her, no
Yeah.
agent.
Oh,
She
yeah.
would have been.
But she
cooler.
was in her leadership when she was talking. It was like a Q&A. She was very well spoken though.
Right.
And I really enjoyed what she had to say because she is a competitor.
Yeah.
And we're competitors too. And she said that she hates losing. And I'm that is me. I hate losing. And she mentioned, she said no one realizes how much hours you put into this game, just the 2 hours you show them out on the court.
I like
and
that
I
quote.
took that to heart. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, we would go in and shoot late at night and no one sees that.
Yeah.
But that's what makes great players. People don't see the hard work and dedication you put in when people don't see.
Especially shooters.
Especially
like that.
shooters.
Yeah.
And I have so much respect for her because I'm you literally changed the game because you worked hard for it. And she was a competitor and said, this is also what I really love. She said, I wanted to be the best player out on the floor. And I was like,
Hey, that's what y'all were saying just a second ago.
so
right?
I was like, yeah.
And she was talking about leadership and being a leader, and she said you have to build those relationships to lead people.
Like with your teammates.
Yes.
Yeah. So outside of that experience, what did y'all, before y'all met her and everything, what did y'all think about her impact on the game? For y'all being female basketball players?
Yeah, I mean, I'm we have somebody that is one of the famous female athletes right now, and changed the game. I'm we get a chance to meet her. I'm
Right.
how many little kids and even little boys,
It doesn't
really
matter.
look up to her.
Anybody.
Any
Yes,
player.
some little boys
I
are buying
look
her
up-
jersey instead of
I
a
look up to
guy's
her.
jersey.
I think she's great.
how cool is it? We get to experience even being in the same
Yeah.
room as her and talking to her, taking a picture with her that we're gonna have forever.
Yeah, I never would have imagined that we would meet Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
So
How
That
is
kind
it?
of capped it off.
How has it been throughout your all's life? You've kind of grew up in women's basketball as it's became more mainstream. How has that been watching that change
Well, yeah.
or being a part of that change?
Yeah,
Really?
well, yeah. I mean, women's sports, it's growing. It really is. I mean, NBA and college like basketball for men like has always been the top dog, you know.
Yeah, growing up, we mainly watched men's
like,
sports.
And like
Right.
I'd be like, I always watched NBA. I always watched men's basketball because I mean my brother, that's all he watched. My dad watched that. But then like now, like how much she's changed the game, and like now it's like women's sports. People are watching it more than ever.
Well,
now.
last year, I believe, or maybe it was 2 years ago, whenever Caitlin Clark went to the Final Four, there was more viewers in that Final Four
Yeah.
than there was the men's
Yeah,
Final Four. And I'm not going to lie, I had that women's Final Four on over the men's. I
Yeah.
mean, I wanted to watch her
Yeah.
play South Carolina or
Well,
whoever
I mean,
it was.
like, how do you shoot from the logo, you know, and hit them like just normally shoot it? You
Right.
know what I mean? Like
And she
that was
has-
just a common shot she shot.
She has a great
Yeah.
jump shot.
Yeah, it's
great
crazy.
stroke.
And-
Kind of reminded me of Hunter Crouch when he played high school
Stop it.
basketball in college.
I think his
he
form was
wishes.
better though.
Yeah.
Stop it.
He,
Yeah.
he wishes.
Yeah, I do wish. I do. I wish I could shoot like Caitlin Clark.
You know, it's kind of, you talk about watching the NBA growing up, and now it's, for me anyway, it's hard to watch the NBA now.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
is. It
It's-
is hard.
And I mean, I would 10 times rather watch a college game, men's or women's,
yeah, me
either
too.
one, than watch an NBA game.
Yeah,
right now.
that's funny you say that because I can't remember who it was. There was 2 NBA teams playing the other night, and there was a college girls game on Sweet 16, and I was like looking at the two of them, and I was like, I'm gonna turn this close game, just good defense, just getting after it, good coaching going on the sidelines, being competitive, and I was like, we'll flip over to this NBA game. Slow, high pick and roll,
Walking
just
too much.
isolation, refs calling
Threes.
49
All-
fouls,
all threes.
All
threes
threes,
going
yeah.
up. That's it. Just walking up and down the floor, and I'm like, I'm going back to this game. I think it was Duke and North Carolina.
Yeah.
And I go back and I'm watching it, and I'm like, this is better basketball right
Yeah.
now. I mean, it is. It's just it's a fact
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely more fundamentally better to watch.
Yeah.
for sure. It's not like for me. It's threes, like Grant said, and it's isolation. It's just
Yeah.
like, hey, come set me a screen. I'm gonna go try to score.
Yeah, it's
That's it.
all the
That's-
isolation. I
That's
mean,
it.
I like to watch other players move.
Yes, I like seeing a system, a flow. It's pass, cut, pass, dribble, drive,
Yeah.
kick.
It's better on the eyes.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's better to
whether
watch.
they're scoring the ball well or not. If they're running their offense nicely, I'm like, man,
Yeah.
that's great. I'm writing that down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that
Yeah,
in the playbook.
yeah.
I just like seeing stuff like that. But the NBA, you can't get nothing from the NBA. I've got
No.
coaches on my Twitter. It's like, oh, take this play from the Lakers game last night. And I'm like, that's never gonna work at the high school level or
No.
college level. Like
Yeah.
it's not gonna
The
work.
NBA guys, they're only really playing, I feel like, 100% when they're in the finals
Yep.
or
Playoffs.
Yeah,
Yep.
sometime in the playoffs is
Yeah.
when they really turn it on. And I mean, I guess guys still go out there and put up big numbers, but it's just not the same. They're not playing any defense.
Right. There's
I mean, what was some team just a couple nights ago scored like 162? Who was that? You seen that?
I've seen that, but I don't even care who it was because
Yeah.
it's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that would be fun if I was there watching and just watching dunk after dunk and three after three. Like, that's great. But, like, at the end of the day, like, that's not bad.
It's 10 times more exciting to watch a close defensive game where it comes down to the wire than to
Yep.
watch a 160 to 120 game.
Yeah.
That's like watching Houston and Purdue. Did you watch Houston?
Yeah,
and Purdue?
Houston and Purdue. That was like it was fun to watch, but that was like a sloppy defensive
I
game.
mean, it was,
man.
what was it, 62 to 60? Was that the final?
It ended up being just like a 2-point game.
Yeah, but it was just like in the 60s too.
Yeah.
And-
Well, I will say, being a coach, I wrote it down. I had to. Did you see that
The final play?
baseline out of bounds
Yeah.
play? I call them blob plays.
But that was,
awesome. That
that-
was awesome.
That was a great play, but that was really just bad defense by Smith.
Well, the guy that was in the inbounder, he I don't know why he jumped over into help right there.
Dude,
There was no reason for it.
It would have been different if the guy was coming on his side, like the close side, but he was all the way across the court. And I don't know, you're the coach and you all going to be coach, but I would 10 times rather give that guy a shot at a three over there, contested, which the other guy could have helped off, but he didn't. But I would 10 times that guy throw up a three to beat the buzzer,
In the
then
corner.
give the guy a layup right there under the
Right,
goal.
wide open.
Which I don't know why he done that or what he was thinking, but of course Purdue does that all the time. I don't know if you watch them
Oh, yeah.
like that's the thing they do, but they usually don't do it on the far side like that.
Right. I don't mess up. I mean, cost him the season.
Yeah.
What's your favorite? Speaking of like blob plays like that, what's the most satisfying thing to do on the basketball court?
The extra pass hit
I
a
love
three.
it. I love the answer. That was what I was gonna say. The one more pass
That's
and
the sweetest.
they hit the shot.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, I have to agree. But inbounds play though,
I do like it.
my favorite one was when they have their back turn and you and this was my
Cassie
play.
done it a
my
lot,
Coach my coach let me call it special, and when we called special, I just knew it. You just throw it off their back, get the ball, hit it
just lay it
easy
in.
layup. Yeah.
See, we do
She's
something
good at it.
similar. So, like, you got your guy guarding the ball, and then I had a 6'5", just freak athlete on my team. He's standing on the block. Well, that guy's like, I'm not going to let him score. He's looking right in his chest. And anytime we see that, it's automatic. We just say yes. I look at my inbounder, I'm like, yes. All we do is just toss it right to the rim.
Yep.
And he's not ready for that. He's looking at his chest. So he just catches it and lays it in. That's so satisfying to me. I'm like, yep, it worked again.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, it's coming, lob's coming. It's still there.
Yeah,
They just
it's
throw it
still
there.
there, yeah.
But
Well,
that's
talking about coaching there, what's your all's opinion on guarding that? How do you like having a guy turned around right there watching everything else going on, or do you like him to face guard the inbounder?
Well, props to Coach Reeves and like Coach Crystal and Coach John, her coaches that we had in college. We had a system where the one guards everybody on the left side, the two guards everybody on the right side, and
Or a ball side.
or ball side.
So it's like kind of like a zone.
Yeah,
on
kind of like
inbounds?
a zone, kind of. And then our 5 is guarding and 4 are on the block. Our 3 is actually either turned to the person throwing in the ball, or if they're doing that play, you're going to back them up. And like you're basically have 2 people on the wall.
Repeat what you just said. Let me get my notebook. Write this down because I like what I'm hearing.
That's probably hard to like comprehend, but like when you
go in as a position, you know where you are.
Yeah.
And we have like certain spots that we would guard.
yeah, so
Gotcha.
it's cool.
So
Like,
it's kind of like a matchup zone.
Yeah.
Almost.
Right.
You're just matching up whoever in
But
your
then when the
zone.
ball gets inbounded, y'all
Your
run man
matchup.
defense.
And
Yeah.
then we would scout those, so sometimes we'd have to invert, like say the 3 and the 5 or something like that.
So you just brought up a great word, scout. How important is that? How important is it to understand personnel? I say that all the time to my guys. I'm like, I tape numbers onto my JV's jersey. And I'm like, this is number 12. He's the shooter. Guys mess up in practice, and I'm like, understanding personnel, and they're just like, oh, personnel. He says it all the time. How important?
Oh
is it?
yeah, no, they preach that to us, and it definitely helps knowing the scout. Sometimes we knew the scout more than the team that was running the play knew it.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
It's very important. I mean, when they run a play, you know what's coming.
We're there in the spot before they would get there.
Right. And okay, you can't score there. What are we going to run now, coach? Run this play. You know it. You know everything. Y'all are taking away all their advantages that they've practiced for the last week or the last whole season.
Yeah.
Y'all have taken that away from them. So now what are they going to do?
And then when teams are so robotic, you're gonna come up with the ball because you're gonna get a steal.
Yeah.
Because sometimes teams get so robotic in their plays, they just catch and pass without even looking. And if you already know the scout and you're right there, of course you're gonna pick it up.
They're wanting it to go there because that's where coach says that's where it's
Yeah.
got to go. So you know it's coming there, and
Yeah.
and that's why I tell them, like, guys, this is very, very important to know these things because it's the little things. That's where we get a steal right there, like you said. That's where we get a steal. We're going the other way. You know, they don't even get a chance at a shot right there.
What did a week look like for you all on the practice and the film and all that? When you you probably played 2 games a week or something. So what did that week look like?
So when we started conference play, we had games on Thursday and Saturday. So Monday, Tuesday, it was kind of a harder practice and getting into the week. And then probably, was it Wednesday, we'd put in scout and we'd watch film. We'd watch film throughout the week, so we watched film a lot.
Yeah, we'd come in every Sunday and practice and have film that evening to like get us like to get our minds fresh on
Prepared for the week.
So like we know the team who we're playing. But then we practice hard throughout the week, and then we really focus on like Tuesday, Wednesday kind of. That's when we really focus on scout.
So are you focusing on the team you're playing Thursday?
Thursday, yeah, we don't look ahead.
So are you cramming on Friday for Saturday?
Kind of. We'd like put in stuff for the Saturday game sometimes, like here and there, but we'd focus on that game.
Yeah.
You know, the one
Well,
we
and
had
just
the next
y'all
day.
can just be honest. If you knew you were going to beat the team on Saturday,
Yeah.
were you just focusing
Well,
on
yeah.
the team on
honestly.
Thursday?
You definitely put more emphasis on the team that you feel like
Yeah.
needs it.
Right, right. And your coach is obviously smart enough to understand that,
for
and
sure.
kind of y'all are smart enough to understand
Yeah.
like we don't need to worry about the team on
Yeah.
Thursday. We need to be talking about.
But you
Saturday.
definitely can't underestimate anybody.
In college,
Yes.
that's a fact.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, anybody
agree.
can beat anybody.
And
Yeah.
just like right now, you see it in March Madness.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody
Yes.
can beat anybody.
What about during the off season? How did you all go about your practicing then and just getting ready and staying ready for the next year?
Yeah, so after we got beat this previous like past few weeks, he gives you off a few weeks, and then but you're right back at it because like you know your mindset in college is like you want to win a national championship. Like, that's all that's what you play for. And so, like, he's like, this is when you get the fundamentals down, like the team, like the system that he's wanting to put in, and especially for the incoming freshmen coming in, that's when he really introduces what they need to be working on during summertime.
And good leaders like y'all are enforcing that with the freshmen.
Oh yeah. And that's what I look forward to doing is like, we're done, but I'm like, I want to come in and help.
Still be a part of
the program because this program has given me everything. Like it's been
been so good.
So good.
Have you enjoyed college more than high school?
I've really loved college. And not many people can say that. A lot of people's experience in college is like they play, you know what I mean? Like, we are so blessed that, like, I would not change my 4 years for nothing.
Right.
Through the good and the bad. Like, it wasn't always easy.
It's not easy,
it's
but
not easy at all, but it's so worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. I mean, y'all have to juggle class. Did y'all have to do any mandatory study hall?
We do freshman year.
Yeah. You got to do mandatory study hall, then you got to do practice, then you got to do film,
and
then you
got
to do weights.
Yeah.
You got to do conditioning, whatever it is.
I mean, me and Hunter were talking about it, like on his podcast when we were talking about him.
Props to y'all. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's really, it's a full-time job almost.
Yeah.
And what I tell the freshmen coming in, of course, I'm a homebody, and it's an hour and 30 from the house, so, like, it's not like that's far away, you know. But I was such a homebody. You go from high school to living with your parents to having to be disciplined. Like, you had to do what your coach, you know what I mean? You're going through the motion. When you get to college, you're on your own. Yeah. You either show up or you don't, and it hurts you if you don't, you've got to discipline yourself. So, like, I tell every freshman coming in, make it to Christmas, because that first semester is going to be the hardest time in college, because you're adjusting to everything new. You're learning how to live on your own. You're not dependent on your parents. Like, this is something you've got to build for yourself.
You're also learning how to become an adult while you're playing college basketball.
And trying to do school, you know what I mean?
And school's harder.
And school's
much
hard.
harder.
And I can say, like, that first semester of college, it was going to either make me or break me, and it almost broke me. But once I got past Christmas, I was good.
And it definitely helped because we had each other, so I couldn't imagine.
If Kassie was having a bad day, Kaylee's like, "Hey, dude, figure it out."
Yeah, so
vice versa.
It's great to have each other to lean on.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we've been each other's roommates for so long,
forever.
And y'all have teammates that live with y'all
we
in
have
your apartment.
two.
So y'all got 4 people that are like kind of building off each other. Like, hey, let's go, hang out somewhere, do something, get your mind off, whatever, and then like let's get back to it.
And it helps because we're all going through the same thing, so you're not alone.
Right.
You have a lot of support there.
Yeah.
So talk about, you said you're a homebody. How was your coach whenever it came time to like go home? So you played on Saturdays, unfortunately, and then Sunday, I'm sure, you got film, you said.
Yeah.
So like, what was it like being able to go home during the season? Were you able to?
Well, so we had film sometimes Sundays. Well, if we had a Saturday game, I forgot. He usually gave us off Sunday.
Gave you Sunday off.
Yeah, he did give us off because he really did prioritize us getting to go back to church, because he knew, like, our home church, like Dad preached,
and he was big on that.
Yeah, and that's what our main focus was. Like, he was our coach, but he was a mentor in life too. Like, he really wanted you to be a good person outside of basketball. So, like, that's why it was so awesome, and we had such a good experience, because they really respected
it. Wasn't all about basketball.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, like, once we, like, he knew that people wanted to go home, and, like, he would, like,
and go to their home church and go spend time with their family.
Yeah, so he really prioritized that.
So
You've got to do that to keep people from getting homesick.
Right. And that was Sunday for y'all.
And that was kind of your break, like, kind of just regroup,
decompress.
Yeah, and then come back ready for the next week. So
it was Sundays was y'all's day.
Yeah,
so it was 6 days a week then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
6 days a week, and then Sunday was your day off. Yeah.
You mentioned something a minute ago about leadership. Is there a point you can point to? Because I know in high school you all were the leaders of the team. Is there a point in college when you realized you were becoming the leaders of the team then too?
Well, freshman year I kind of was thrown into it because coming in they didn't really have a true point guard, and I told Coach Reeves this. Right before we committed, he said, I need a point guard. And so my 4 years, he has really helped develop me as a point guard and leader. Coming in as a freshman, though, we got very blessed to be able to start for 4 years in college.
Right.
Like that's very uncommon.
Yeah.
But
you were good enough. Quit being humble.
Well, I want to thank our coaches for like giving us this opportunity and stuff. But it's hard to gain that respect as a freshman to lead your team that's
Right.
experienced.
And there's some of them are seniors.
And seniors.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it took me a hot minute because I'm like, you've got to build that trust. Like, hey, I'm a freshman and I'm trying to lead you on the court, but like, do you really want to take in what I'm saying?
Right.
So you don't want to.
Are they brushing it off?
Yeah,
or-
You got to kind of prove yourself to
you
them.
got to. That's a big thing. You can't overstep your boundary.
And you got to show them that you're about it.
Yeah, you've got to
I'm
prove
here.
yourself. So freshman, sophomore year, you kind of let the upperclassmen, do their thing. You like lead off the court too. Like do the get-togethers and all that stuff. But once I became a junior and senior, I'm like, no, like I want to take like responsibility for everybody. I want to lead this team.
And you're holding people accountable in practice and
and
games.
they really did let me lead. Like my teammates were so good to like really respect me, and that's why I love my team so much because they let us be who we are, and like I really appreciate them for that.
And you weren't like an Army general.
No.
Yeah, so
Well,
you had a good relationship.
Maybe a
with-
couple times I'm like, that's just because I'm a sore loser and didn't want to lose. But
Right.
like they knew that about me. They could laugh at it. Like laugh
But
at
they
Afterward.
knew that's how she was
Yeah.
because they understand Cassie, so
Right.
they didn't
Yeah.
take it in any way.
Well, that sounds definitely like the
What
way things need to be.
What about you, Kaylie? Did you just kind of let her?
Yeah, I kind of let her do the thing because she, like, on the floor, like, she was the point guard, so she had to be the leader.
You were just focused on guarding their best player.
Yeah, I had to be the leader on defense. That's what our coaches would say. And Coach Reeves, he'd come to me and be like, your sister has a lot on her plate, like leading the team on the floor, but you need to be a leader off the floor. Yeah. So I try to, be a leader off the floor as well. So
No, I went to a coaching clinic. They said 3 people cannot have a bad day in practice.
Mm-hmm.
Who would those 3 be? Your guess?
The coach,
That's one.
the point guard.
The point guard.
I don't know.
Who's the third one?
Yeah, who is? I don't know.
The best player.
Best.
So your
okay.
best player could be your point guard, but if it's not, that's
Yeah,
the 3
but-
people that
yeah.
cannot have a bad practice. Your coach, your best player, and your point guard. And that's why whenever you said, well, I was thrown in at point guard as a freshman and they wanted me to be the leader.
Yeah.
That's why right there, because those are the 3 people that can't have a bad day. Your coach is never going to have a bad day. I'm sure he never did he? He always came in, he was well prepared for practice, ready to get things going, so now it's up to the best player and the point guard.
And what I really realized, and it took me a hot minute to realize this, but like freshman year, it's a big transition from going to being the best, like me and Kay being I'm not saying the best player, in high school, but but coming in and
There they are being humble again.
Well,
I swear, I told you they were humble. I told you that before the
can't-
podcast.
I'm not saying the best player in high school, even though we were the best players in high school.
But and then coming in and like playing against girls on your team that is just as good, it's hard to make that transition and but when you finally realize that, like I used to get down on myself a lot, and like you said, your point guard can't have a bad practice.
Right.
And my coach was really good to be like, Cassie, like if you're having a bad practice, your team goes off of you. Like if you're having a bad practice, they're going to have bad practice. If you're not communicating, why would they communicate? If they're if
They're
you're
gonna
not
feed off
leading
of
it,
what
they're
You
gonna
set the
feed
whole
off of
vibe.
Yep.
yeah, like you said it. And I would always be like, at first I'm like, well, I'm just, they don't feed off of me,
That was your mindset in the beginning.
That was my mindset.
Yeah.
But towards the end, like junior, senior year, I really realized that because when I miss shots sometimes this year, like I've realized in the past when I just kind of shut down a little bit.
Right.
But then my team was shut down and I didn't realize why we would lose.
Yeah.
But then it's like that's the thing about maturing from being freshman to senior.
Clicked with you.
It just clicks.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, maybe your coach was right. You know what I mean? You
Right.
finally admit, like, yeah, he was right. Because I think that's why this year I've just been more mature because when I missed a shot, it's okay. I've got to get my teammates,
Right. You start
So,
worrying about that. Like,
yeah.
all right, it's not my night tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to dish the
And
ball
you've
and
gotta
do what
be
I can
okay
do.
with that. You've
Yeah.
got to be okay doing the things that you need to help your team to win.
So, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we've been in the situation where we've had 3. We had our best player and we had me and then we had our point guard. But our point guard was still really good.
Mm-hmm.
But if he was down and he was out and he couldn't hit a shot, he was starting to get down on himself. Well, you could see it on the floor, even our best player starting to drag and like, oh man, our point guard's not in it. And I'm like, dude, that's the prime example right there. And I
Yeah.
told him, we ended up winning that game. He started to pick it up and pick everybody else up. And I showed him after the game, like, man, you just set an example right there. You were about to quit, and look at your team. They were quitting, but then you decided, I'm not going to quit. All right. And then you didn't quit.
Yeah.
We win the game.
And
I mean, it doesn't matter how good your point guard is. They feed off of the point guard. He's the one that leads the offense. He's it's just a position thing. I don't know what it is, but
actually, that might be the one thing I do regret is I wish I would have realized that sooner.
yeah.
I do. I wish I would have.
Well, I'm glad you said that. I'm
Yeah.
going to have my point guard listen to this podcast immediately.
What about you, Kaylie, looking at that from a different position? Did you kind of have that same experience, even though you wasn't having as much pressure as the leader, having to mature into that role?
I was kind of the same way when I was younger. I definitely let things affect me that I didn't need to affect me, because it definitely affects your whole team. If you see one person down, you kind of see that and you're like, oh, wow, we need to lift her up, though, and that they're worrying about you when they should be worrying about the game. So, yeah, it does affect the whole team. But that's one thing I do regret as well. But definitely, as we've gotten older, we've definitely matured and have learned a lot of things throughout the game. So,
How big do you all think this is kind of going off that too, the momentum in the game is? I mean, when you're in the game, you get those momentum swings and you're trying to get it back. How big is that in the game at the time to keep the momentum on your side?
yeah, you definitely have to keep your composure. Say another team, good teams make runs, and everybody knows that.
Yeah.
But we can't let that affect our game, and that was a huge thing. Sometimes we would get in a panic mode, and we'd jack up shots that probably wasn't the best shots, but and that's another thing that we learned too. You just got to be calm and let the game come to you.
Yeah.
But definitely, when you have that momentum on your side, you definitely want to keep going. But
See, I'm,
How was it? Oh, well, I was just going to ask
Yeah.
Cassie there, how was that as a point guard controlling the momentum?
Yeah.
Like, you had to keep that in your mind the whole time of when to speed up, when to slow it down.
And that's the thing, like, I've had to really mature about that, because when I was a freshman, sophomore, still young in college, I didn't understand that. I'm like, even if we're down, no, like, let's play fast, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But then, like, towards the end, like, as I matured, you just realize, like, let the game come to you. You got to let the game flow. You can't catch up in 2 seconds. You've got to really slow it down. And that's when point guards, you need to make sure your team gets good shots. You can't just be, jacking up shots. And that's when you need to get and pull your team together and be like, hey, this is the time to get good shots,
a 2-minute span of bad shots can lose you the game.
yeah.
It can lose you the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely.
Did you all have any big comebacks that kind of stick out in your mind?
yeah, in the conference tournament, we were down by 20.
Oh,
Last year against Georgetown.
Yeah, last year. Was it in the third, fourth quarter? We
was-
made this huge
yeah.
comeback. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, and we ended up winning. Like, we went on like a 20-0 run.
Yeah, it was
or
crazy.
something.
Yeah.
that's what I was going to say earlier. Is like when we weren't winning many games, but then we were playing a game. We went on a 10-0 run, and we go up, 8 or 10. We force them to call a timeout. The guys just walk over to the bench, and they're like, "Okay, now what, coach?" And I'm like, "Boys, like, I want y'all to be jumping up and down,
Yeah.
let's go,
Yeah.
clapping."
Yeah.
That gets in their head. That's
It
momentum.
does. It
like,
really
yeah,
does.
like that's how I want you to act. And then whenever we're down, which obviously this isn't a perfect world, and then when we're down and they go on a run, it's like sprint to the bench. Let's figure out what's wrong.
Yeah.
That's kind of the mindset. But I just thought that was so
And-
funny. I'm like, why aren't y'all? We just
Yeah.
went on a run.
That's one thing I noticed about your team is sometimes when they would get that 8 or 10 point lead, they wouldn't put the finishing touches on it, and
Right.
they would let up and they would let the other team get back in it.
Right, and that goes back to not being hyped up after
Yeah.
a timeout.
Yeah, keeping your composure.
Yeah, we forced them to call a timeout. Like we hyped up. We got to keep our foot on the gas.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh, okay, well, and then let's just settle down. We're winning, and the next thing you know, it's tied up again.
Yeah.
So momentum is just a big deal. And then when the momentum's not in your favor,
Yeah.
you have to do everything in your power to run your offense effectively
Yeah.
to be able to get it back. And I think we've developed that a little bit. Guys started to get a little more spark about them whenever we'd go on runs, things like that.
Yeah, and what I've noticed, like, the team that starts the momentum, like, that
Early.
has it early,
Yeah.
will win the game,
Yeah.
because then the other team has got to feed off of that. Be like, oh my gosh, they're like, so say like we play like a team that is slow, like slow ball, they score very low points, that's when you need to speed them up.
Right.
And that's what you've got to realize. Even with Scout, you're like, this is a team that plays slow, but to win, you've got to speed them up.
Right.
You know,
And that's how y'all play.
Yeah,
You know, that's y'all style
and,
anyway.
And teams try to slow us down.
Right.
So like we wasn't too good half court wise, but like when we had our speed and we could kick the ball up and get layup after layup, teams couldn't touch us.
Because we were used to running up and down the floor. Other teams would get tired and they're like, keep pushing it.
Yeah, I mean, when you got two small, fast point guards on the floor, that's kind of the way you play offense.
Yeah, when you play like that and you get a team tired, it's over.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
over. They'll quit in the third quarter, and
Yeah.
I'm sure y'all have seen that. But we're talking about this. It kind of leads me to my next question. Rivalries. I want y'all each to tell me about your favorite rivalry in high school and then in college, because we're talking about momentum,
Yeah.
and it's so good to build momentum against a rival team and like that crowd, the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Tell me in high school and then tell me in college. I want to know your
We
two
probably have
rivals.
the same.
Oh yeah, definitely the same.
So I think I know who the high school one is, but I want y'all to tell me.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
So-
You should be a co-host.
Are you offering me the job finally?
It's a permanent job, though.
I'll sign the contract after this.
It's an internship.
Oh,
Unpaid.
just an internship, so I'm not getting paid yet.
Unpaid.
Oh, dang. That's all right. I think I still may stick around. So, all right, let's hear it.
Yeah.
Well,
let's hear
so
it.
clearly being a Clarkrange Buffalo, of course your biggest rival is Pickett County.
Pickett County.
So, you played against them. That was like the sweetest win you could ever get is against Pickett County.
Oh, yeah.
Because, our fan base is great, but they also have a good fan base.
They're close behind us.
Oh, yeah.
They are.
They've got it.
The atmosphere is crazy when you
Both,
play.
both places.
Yes.
You
And,
know
and,
it's
and they
gonna be
always
packed.
have a good team too. Just like
Yes.
Clark Range usually has a good team. They usually
And that's
have a good
usually
team.
boys and girls.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the girls' game's packed, it's a good game, whoever wins, and then nobody leaves. The boys' game's packed, and
Yep.
it's a good game. That was always a good rivalry.
And a good memory is they used to make a sign, or I guess it was their senior year, junior or senior year. They made a sign and said, "We hate Mondays." So, of course, we had to go back and make a sign that said, "We love Mondays."
Yeah.
Our cheerleaders did. So, like, it was just fun because, like, that's something I did miss in college, the atmosphere that each team
Yes.
brought. But even though we did have a good turnout for college,
Right.
our student body and professors, everybody come out in the community. But, like, the high school atmosphere was just insane. Like, it was so much
Well,
fun.
and I'm sure your gym's big.
Yeah.
And the fan attendance is there, but it's probably not like it is whenever you're on a smaller court,
Yeah.
smaller gym. The bleachers are right on top of you. I'm
Yeah,
sure
we've
y'all-
talked about that before. It's just
Right.
a different vibe when
Yeah.
you're in a cramped, small, old gym.
Yeah.
and you've got
and-
500 people in there.
And Coach
screaming.
Rogers has it turned up to 90 degrees, and you're out there. Everybody's in the gym sweating and
And everybody's
yelling.
hateful because they're hot. So
Yeah.
they're yelling at the referees and yelling at y'all and the other team and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. So you can't beat that atmosphere. You'll never be able to beat that.
No.
But still, at the college level, you had good turnouts and you had rivals. So what about college? Who would you say?
Yeah, I would say our biggest rival was Campbellsville.
That was the
Yeah.
team with the girl from Pickett County
Yeah.
that beat y'all, and then y'all finally got the one up on them.
Yeah. Respect to her though. She's a great
She
player.
was good.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, y'all were saying she got to play because of the COVID year and stuff.
Yeah.
She played when me and Austin played. Like she was in Austin's grade, maybe.
yeah, she's Austin's grade.
Yeah.
And he's 3 years older than us.
Right.
And it's kind of cool playing against people that you played in high school. Like, I know that girl, and you form relationships and connections
Right.
with
And
them.
you're giving the scout to
Yeah.
coach, but then after the game you're dapping her up
Yeah.
and you're like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
how's it going?
And it's funny because like it's so cool to see like girls you play with in the Upper Cumberland like against them. Like we have friends from Freed Hardman like that's from Clay County that we played against,
Right.
and like even like White County, Upperman that's with Freed.
I was gonna say White County and Upperman.
Like it's just like crazy to see like how successful the Upper Cumberland basketball basketball talent is.
Yeah.
And like it's just cool because it's like we're experiencing the same thing but from different teams.
Right.
Yeah, me and Hunter's talked about. You talked about the talent. Me and Hunter's talked about that before. With the boys, how talented. And we're going to have to mention Tyreek Kidd because we always talk about Tyreek Kidd. I thought we wasn't going to mention him this
No,
time.
we're done with Tyreek Key. I was gonna ask him about Ty Cobb. He's our new guy.
He's our new guy, Ty Cobb. We're going to glaze him, as Hunter's kids say. But you all were talking about the talent there, and we talk about how it's just there's always top players on the boys' side, but also on the girls' side, there's always top players around the Upper Cumberland. It's just there's some really good basketball around here.
And it's single A, double A, triple A, 4A. It doesn't matter. Like White County's 3A. You got your Cookvilles and whatever.
And then Tessa Miller at Clemson from
She
Stone.
is a stud.
Yeah.
Like she is killing it. She went from Belmont, had a really good career, went to Clemson, and then Reese Beatty down the road's going to Iowa State. I mean. There is a lot of talent around here. Like, it's not just Clarkrange girls basketball. Yeah, y'all are elite and really good, but we also have to worry about Pickett County, White County, Cumberland County, all these schools that have really good programs. And the Upper Cumberland is just, like, when I got the job at Sunbright, they're like, man, what are y'all doing up on that plateau over there? And I'm like,
they said, what's in the water over there?
They're like, what's going on?
What's on that mountain over there?
Yeah, they're like, man, y'all just do it different over there. And I'm like, man, it's your life. Like, we don't have nowhere to go, nothing to do.
There's just a lot of people passionate about basketball around here.
And I think they developed that a long time ago, and it's just kept going.
Like you said, your dream as a first grader was, I want to be a Clarkrange Lady Buffalo. That's me. When I was in middle school, I'm like, man, I need to be the best player I could be so I can play on the Buffalo's team. I want to be a Buffalo. And the same thing for Clay County. I want to be a Bulldog or a Pickett County. I want to be a Bobcat. Like, that is your mindset.
That's like Kaylie talking about. It was established a long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, you look back at the history of the Clarkrange Lady Buffaloes and like your all's aunt, and even before that, I mean, you could go back to probably the 70s, and there's people going to college, and playing at the college level way back in the day.
Yeah.
So speaking of aunt, she's like my second mom. She's my favorite person in the world. Could you beat her one-on-one? Sean Monday Smith.
I mean,
One of your biggest.
Times have changed.
She's one of your biggest supporters too.
Yeah.
Times have changed. You're saying you could.
I mean,
They're young and in the prime. That's what they're saying. They could smoke her now.
So it's funny about Sean. We were watching the girls tournament the other day, and a commercial came on, and it was Tennessee Tech was playing South Carolina, and they popped up a picture from like 1980 or 90, whatever it was, and it was Sean. She was just handling the ball, and it was the NCAA tournament, and like we all took pictures of it. We sent it to our group chat, and like everybody sent that picture. Spencer sent it, and I sent it, and I was like, man, that's just so crazy. Like she was just like y'all. She had an excellent high school career. She won state championships, and then she went to college. Broke the assist record. She's all-time leading assists. Like I think she's way more humble than y'all are. Like she's just like she doesn't want to talk about it, but she was so good, and I try to always pick her brain about basketball whenever we get a chance to talk.
Yeah.
And like she said, like we were saying, the people who established that back then, the kids now are reaping the benefits of that.
Right. Has she give you any tips ever? Does she ever say anything to you?
I mean, yeah. She's been a great supporter, and times have changed. Like how she played is different how we played, because now the 3-point is like much bigger than it was back then.
Right.
Like she could feed like some good posts.
She could have got a lot more assists if the 3-point line.
That's what I'm saying. Like
we argued about the way the game is played on our last podcast that we ain't released yet. We argued about that for an hour. Or we talked about it anyway, about how the game has went from being post players like that. You throw it in, somebody post up, and now it's more like how you all play. You run and gun and you shoot some threes.
Like she would have been a shooter and a scorer along with being an assist. Getting dropping assists. But I don't know. That was a long time ago. The game's changed, but I mean, you still have to put respect on.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she was unreal.
You can't really compare the eras,
right? You just can't. You just can't.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Talking about, we were talking earlier about you all going and going to Kentucky up there, and it was you said it's like a smaller town, but it's obviously not as small as Clarkrange. Mm-hmm. How was that transition in just your regular life? Moving up there, and you were talking about moving out and moving up there. How was that transition for you all?
It was definitely a little hard, because you're going to a place where you know everybody in the town, to moving to another town, don't know anybody. So it was important creating those connections, but it definitely took a little bit to learn everybody and get to know everybody. But
do you feel like now that you're there, because it's a small college, do you feel like you kind of know everybody at the college now? So you kind of get that like small school feel like you did at Clarkrange?
And I think that's why we've had such a good experience too, because it is kind of like Clarkrange.
Right.
Everybody knows everybody on campus. We know every student. Like it's pretty cool.
You see people that don't play no sports, and you're like, hey, what's up, man? Like you know them, you know who they are.
Yeah, you form connect. In our classes, I probably never had more than 20 people in my class.
So it's just like
So you
high
just-
school,
yeah,
kind of.
yeah,
Same,
yeah.
same.
So,
same
so
kind of
you
style.
still got that small school
Oh,
feel
yeah.
to it instead of going to somewhere like Tech and having 150 people in a class or something.
Right. Well, yeah. It depends on what class you're taking, like history, biology.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
walk in, there's 200 people in the class. It's
Yeah.
an auditorium. There's just one professor.
And with me, like where I did like exercise sports science, I had like all the athletes in my classes,
Right.
and so like our teacher would be like, "Who's not here?" You know, it'd be an athlete missing. Like they must have had a game yesterday. They're tired, or like they're on an away trip, and it's just cool because like everybody supports one another up there, and it's like all of our professors are like great with like if we have to travel. You know, and it's a small community that really does support one another.
Talking about the traveling there, how cool is that to play at college and travel around the country? I
Yeah.
know you played the tournament. Was it in Iowa?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sioux City, Iowa.
We've actually, basketball is insane. It's took us many places. We've been, our freshman year, so when you go to the national tournament, it depends on what seed you are and where you play. So our freshman year, we got placed in Lakeland, Florida. So that was deep in Florida. That was a cool experience. And then our sophomore year, that was in Louisiana. So that was pretty cool in New Orleans. So we got to walk down the street and stuff.
Yeah.
And then our junior year, we got to host the tournament. So
And senior
and
year.
senior year.
Yeah.
So y'all are going like charter bus, like full plane. What's
We
that look
did
like?
charter a lot just because we couldn't fly. I think it was like 2 times a year. I don't know, because we actually went to Puerto Rico this past, was it
I
past?
think
wow.
I've seen. I think
Yeah.
I've seen that. Y'all
Yeah,
posted
and then
about that.
our sophomore year. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We got to do some
And
mission
was that
work.
that was like a mission trip?
A mission
Yeah.
trip,
Yeah.
yeah. And then this time we got to play 2 games. So
And that was the roughest games we played. Yeah.
it's just
Oh,
different.
y'all got to go down there and play.
And play 2 games.
We played with the international ball and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Who'd you play against?
Teams on the island. I mean, we played 2 of the best teams on the island, so we say we're the island champs. But
They gave us a good run.
yeah,
Yeah.
they gave us
Wow.
a good run.
Pretty
But-
close, pretty close games, or
Yeah, and
Kinda, yeah.
and it was really physical, and like because the referees, I mean, a lot. There's multiple, like there's many people that speak English, like in Puerto Rico, but then our referees did not speak.
So you
no
can't.
English.
I mean, you could be complaining
So-
the ref. He
oh,
looks
yeah.
here.
Yeah,
I
you
don't know
can't
what you're saying.
argue with them.
Well, I was trying to call timeout, and like they didn't give it to me because they didn't know what I was saying.
Yeah,
So
you just
I
gotta
guess
give 'em
I
the-
should have gave him a hand gesture, you know,
right.
timeout.
but you're not thinking that in the
No,
moment.
I'm like timeout, but no, but
So you talk about playing good physical teams. Talk about the D1 teams that y'all have played. So I know y'all played Tech this year.
Yeah.
And I think I was at work, but I was on the phone with Austin, and he's like, "Man, it's like an 8-point game right now."
Hunter's always going to excuse why he wasn't there.
No, I know, but I did. So you played Tech. Y'all kept a close game, and then y'all played MTSU as well. So talk about like the D1 teams
Yeah.
y'all played.
we played EKU too our freshman year. and
I
gave-
didn't get to play that game
Yeah.
because I had COVID.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
we gave EKU a good run for their money. We almost had them. It was at the end that they got us. It wasn't a 10-point. It was within 10 points.
I think it was like 2.
or even 2. Like it was
Uh-huh.
close. It was.
Right.
Real
I was
close.
watching from home.
Yeah, and then MTSU we got beat pretty bad, but thankfully
We won't say how much.
Yeah, it was on camera, but it was a good experience to play
Yeah.
back there, you know, because we played the state tournament there, and then Tech. It was just a great opportunity to go
It
back.
was such a cool
Oh,
experience.
it was
'Cause
so
that's like
cool.
home.
It was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
home, and it was so good to just like reconnect with like the coaches there,
Yeah.
and of course where Sean got to play there.
Right.
You know, it's just great like being there, getting to play on Tech's home
It was so
court.
neat. Like we kind of got emotional.
Yeah,
it was like, oh my gosh.
like, even though we lost and like we played our hardest, like you know we gave it our all, but it's like it was just such a special.
but you're
feeling.
satisfied with
Yeah.
that. That was a
Yeah.
moral victory
Yeah,
for y'all.
because even if we lost, I was like, oh my gosh, like this was like just sweet. Like it was just
Right.
a sweet memory to remember
Did
forever.
did Coach Roseman like try to recruit y'all after the game?
Well, she gave us a big hug.
Yeah, she
so
gave us a hug.
her and Coach Allison Clark. So.
She knew y'all weren't leaving your school.
Yeah.
She knew what was gonna happen.
What about you? You played in the high school tournament and you played in the college tournament. What's kind of the similarities and the differences at each of those?
It's you're on the big floor when you get in the tournament. So I definitely feel like the high school state tournament prepared us for the big floor in college. But I still get nervous before every game. That's how I am. But
As soon as they tip off, you're just good
yeah,
to go.
yeah.
I feel like
You all got any like pregame routines that you just do every time?
Me and Cassie have a basketball routine we do. We always warm up one-hand shots.
Yeah, and then
It's
make
same
it to the
routine.
free throw line, and then start
Yeah.
off with jumpers, and then we go to the 3-point line. I think that's the most important thing when you're working on your form and like getting into your rhythm is start with form shots, one-handed.
If you can't hit them close to the rim, I doubt you can hit them
Right.
far
Well, you got a
away.
lot of kids now. It's like, all right, practice is about to start. I got to get warmed up. They grab a ball and they start shooting threes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, man, you got to start inside out.
Yeah.
You know, just like y'all are saying. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how you get warmed up.
Yeah.
You know, but they just, it's just a big thing. I got to be Steph Curry. I got to go out there and just start shooting threes.
Yeah.
And that's a mindset, too. If I'm not hitting close, I'm like, well, you know.
Right. I got to figure it out from here before I
Yeah.
can
Yeah, you got to
back
get
there.
confident up close, or you're not going to
Yeah,
be confident from
exactly.
deep. I like that thing we had in high school, which of course I was never a stud or nothing, but I like that thing we had in high school where you shot. It was like that ball was hooked up to the thing. What was
Yeah.
that called? You know what I'm talking
It was
about?
like it was some sort of shoot machine.
It was
It
like-
was on our stage.
Yeah.
forever.
I remember
It was like old time, and the
Yeah.
ball was like hooked onto it, but you could just get the perfect form every
Right.
time.
And then you could just see the way the ball was rotating. And
Yeah.
that was
What about the training aids and the weight room or whatever at the college level? How was that? How was the facilities there?
So freshman year, we actually had 4:45 a.m. weights, and of course, as a freshman, your first ever team weightlifting. It's like, oh my gosh, like this is so early in the morning, and I had 8 a.m. class in a few hours, and I was over there about falling asleep in class. But we have nice facility, like we have a weight room where teams can come in, but
Did you have a strength coach?
well, our assistant coach basically was our strength coach that really helped us out. And we actually started an app called Volt, and like it literally takes you step by step through your workout, what you need to do, which is
wow.
very helpful because, I wasn't too familiar with weights, because
Right.
Clarkrange don't really have a weight room. So like
Right.
we were very unfamiliar with like the
What it took to be
technique
good in the
and
weight room.
everything.
Yeah.
So like, he really helped us out a lot.
What about a Dr. Dish machine? Do y'all have one of those? Did
Yeah.
y'all have one of those? We got one. My first year when I got the job, they're like, hey, we just got this too, so you'll have this to use. The boys love it. I mean, I even like to shoot on it. It's just so, them things are awesome. You can get 100 shots up in 7 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Depending on how
definitely
you
helps.
set it. And you don't have to have a rebounder. You can go in
Yeah.
there by yourself and just get shot after shot up. And
Yeah.
I really like the Dr. Dish machine.
Yeah.
So.
Me too. But I did not like it when I missed like 5 shots in a row and had to go rebound every
When
ball.
they don't go in the net,
Bounce out.
you hit one, just brick one, and it goes
yeah.
out, and you're like, crap, I'll get it later.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
the next one goes out, and you're like,
Oh, yeah.
okay, I'm gonna have to go get them.
Yeah, and I did that every time, and it took me 10 minutes to get get it in rhythm. But,
Right.
No, it's awesome.
Going back to the weight training and the weightlifting, and you talk about not doing that in high school. How much do you think that helped your game in college to kind of get into that and to get stronger and faster?
Well, you definitely have to get faster and stronger if you're going to play at the next level. So I think it definitely helped us a lot. I mean, we were really tiny in high school. We've grown a little bit since college.
Did you take it seriously and
Yeah,
like try to
yeah,
lift
yeah.
hard and,
Yeah.
and did what y'all nutrition? Did y'all kind of try to follow a nutritional plan or?
Well, I wish I would have done better.
Yeah, I
but-
wish I would have done better too, but
I think
definitely.
that's what everybody says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we would be disciplined. Like, if you say I drank caffeine, I wouldn't drink it a day before. Like, that was a no-no, or the day of.
Or even
because,
like during season, I
or
still
during
wouldn't.
season, we definitely didn't drink a lot of caffeine at all.
Right.
Is that something you all think you would incorporate into your high school coaching? If you become high school coach, do you think you're going to do more of the weight training and more of the stuff like you did in college?
Yeah, for sure. Because if I have high school players really wanting to make it to the next level, like I'll literally need to push that. Like, hey, this is what is really important.
Right.
And
you have that experience
Yeah.
to be able to show
yeah,
to
and
tell them.
yeah, for sure.
Well, you're a freshman coming in, probably 17, 18 years old, playing against 22, 23-year-olds. So you have to get a little stronger.
You got to pick it up.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to figure out how to handle yourself in
Yeah.
the weight room.
Were they any more freshmen started your all's freshman year, or was it just you two?
Like the starting five.
Yeah, on the starting five.
Me and Cassie were basically the only ones, but we had a good class.
Yeah,
we
So
had
did they all graduate with you this year?
We had a couple that didn't make it, but we ended up graduating with I think it was 6, 7.
Like 6, 7.
Like really? Like
I'm a high school teacher.
yeah. we had 5 players that were seniors, and so we all got to start on senior night. So that was kind of cool. And then we had one. She was a coach this year, so that
like
was
a
cool
graduate
for her.
assistant?
Yeah. So it was cool.
You see a lot of people transferring, like at the D1 level now. Did you all have much transferring, or it did?
Yeah, was the transfer portal a big deal?
Yeah, was there a lot of jumping around on your team, or did most people stick together there?
Yeah, a lot of people stuck together at our school, but we've had a couple transfer in. We actually had one from, she was from France this year.
Wow.
Yeah, she played at
Wake Forest.
Yeah, Wake Forest.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
So
that's
she
pretty
was
cool.
D1, and then she took a little break, and then she missed basketball. So she's like, I want to come back and play.
That's
Wow.
pretty cool.
Did she help y'all out this year?
She did, yeah. She's one of the most athletic people I've ever met in my life.
She can
Really?
almost dunk like a tennis ball.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, she can dunk a tennis ball, I think.
She was tall? Very tall?
She was about, I honestly don't know, but
I don't know.
she was a guard.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So she wasn't like that
Wow,
tall,
a
but she
great
was-
transfer, it
yeah,
sounds
yeah,
like.
yeah.
That's
So,
awesome.
so was she probably from the farthest away?
Her or our center, she's a 6'4" girl from Nigeria.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, Hunter,
So
your
we've had
teacher. What's
2
closer?
internationals.
What's closer,
Fra-
Nigeria
France or
French?
Nigeria?
I would assume France would be a little farther away, but I don't know. It's kind of, I would assume France.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm wrong on that.
I
or
don't
not.
know.
Y'all keep talking. I'm going to pull it up.
So that was your only 2 international players you had?
Yeah.
But I guess you had people probably from all around the country, right? I mean, I know you said mostly Tennessee and Kentucky, but
We had some we have one from Virginia. We had one from
West
Virginia, one from Georgia. I think that's it.
And then Tennessee, Kentucky.
Tennessee,
So it's kind
Kentucky.
of remotely close.
yeah, regional.
Yeah.
France is closer. Nigeria is farther away.
You're right. Oh, wait, no, you was wrong.
I was wrong.
He wasn't going to say nothing.
Africa's just a little closer than Europe is. So.
Gosh, I forgot what I was going to say.
Pee
now.
break again. I'm sorry. I'm glad you messed up right there.
All right, we're back from another one of Hunter's breaks here.
Sorry. Apologize. I'm hurting my internship, ain't I?
Yes, you are.
You're canceled.
I don't really know where we was at there. What do you got here, Hunter?
Yeah, I can't remember. I had to go to the bathroom really bad. So, kind of talking about, we've talked all about y'all's basketball career, but the thing is, basketball, that's all you've ever known is your basketball career. I mean, obviously you've had school life, church, family, but that's going to keep going for the rest of your life. This is over. Basketball is over for you. As a player, you're done. We were talking about before we started the podcast, sometimes people go into like depression or they're like, what do I do with my life? That's all I've
They
done.
kind of get lost.
Right. Yeah. They don't know where to go with their life. And y'all have kind of a good idea of where you want to go, but talk about like what you think about that. Like you're officially done. You'll never play again for a team. So just kind of feed off that. What do you think?
Yeah, that's funny you asked that because I was wanting to ask you the same question. So I'll let you answer after we, answer, unless you want to go ahead and answer.
Well, my answer is going to be what your answer is. And I just decided to be a teacher so I could coach basketball and keep being a part of it. And I will say, being a coach, winning and losing, you thought it was bad whenever you were a player. You thought winning was great and losing was bad when you're a player. When you're a coach, it's like times 100 because you're responsible for 15 kids and all
your
the
job's
fans
on the line.
and your job's on the line. All the fans you're the guy. I mean, if you play good, it's the players, man. They done good. He's got a talented team. If you lose, it's coach's fault.
coach. Yeah.
Always. And like that pressure and just like knowing that you put a game plan together for 15 people. You two put a game plan together for yourself. How can I help my team? But now you're going to have to put together for a whole team.
Yeah.
And something about that, man, I love it. So like I have not lost the passion for the game. I think about playing and how fun it was, but I'm like kind of enjoy what I'm doing now. I like being a coach. I really don't care about playing anymore. I just want to make my team better and develop them and just make them good people after basketball and good basketball players. So I didn't really have that problem. So that's kind of the route I chose, and I do not regret it. I would still do the same thing 100 times over.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you're all thinking too?
Do you want to go? Okay. Well, that question has been, honestly, it was on my heart this whole senior year. Like, like senior year, when you know it's your last season ever playing basketball, it takes a toll on you. Like, basketball is all we've ever known. We literally, of course, grew up in a basketball family. My dad coaching, playing, my brother playing, of course, Sean playing. You know, that's all we've ever heard was basketball, you know. And then we got Brighton coming up. You know, he's going to be a senior at Clarkrange, you know. And, like, that's all we've ever known was basketball. And my dad started us at a young age, and, like, we fell in love with it, like, you know, ever since we could walk, you know, played little dribblers up until elementary, and then Lady Tigers, AAU, middle school, or high school, and then going on to college, you know. It's just crazy, like, how much opportunities basketball has given us, and, like, it has been the best experience of our life. Like, it has literally gave us, like, things and relationships that we couldn't imagine having without basketball. And it's like this whole senior year, I was honestly numb. Like, people would ask me, are you sad at your last season? But I was so numb, like, I didn't think about it. I guess I just didn't want to, like,
know that it was
you didn't want to believe that it was going to be over.
Yeah.
I didn't want to just believe. Yeah. So, like, you know, but then when it became our last game, like, I didn't expect to lose in the Sweet 16. I was hoping we would win it all. Like, we had a good team. You know, we made it to Final Four last year. So I'm like, this is our year, you know. So I didn't prepare myself. So right when that buzzer hit, it hit me. I was like, I will never play basketball.
So
you know,
it wasn't
compete.
the next day. It was right there.
It was right then. And I told Kaylie, like, she was there because we were hugging each other. I said, I can't walk off the floor because I couldn't feel my legs. I was like, I can't do this. Like, this is literally one of the biggest heartbreaks of my life.
Well, and a lot of people may laugh at that and be like, oh my gosh, it's just a game.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it really means something.
It
Whenever
means
you give your life to
literally,
it for years, I mean, that means
literally,
something.
I've not had a summer without basketball forever. Our whole life.
Your whole life.
So, like it's just going to be a hard transition. And, like, whenever you just realize, like, I have put so much hard work and dedication and heart into this sport, and it's over. It's like, you know, a lot of people are like, my identity is through, like, being an athlete, you know. But we had somebody come talk to us for FCA, like, at our school, and I actually asked him this question. I'm like, how does an athlete not find their identity in basketball or, like, in the sport that they play? And he's like, honestly, this is what I had to remind myself. Your identity's in Christ. You know, he's going to give you opportunities like he did in basketball. Like, it's not the end. And I was just thinking, like, this is when I'm so excited about the next chapter because
it is finally over.
Because it is finally over. So you've got to look to the future. And, like, here I am about to get married, you know, moving back home, wanting to start my teaching and coaching career. And hopefully, like, you know, I find my place, you know, where God wants me to. And it just gets me excited to, like, give back to the community and give back to the kids that I, like, remind myself I was once that kid with the dream.
And like I said, at the end of the day, you're still around the game.
Still around
like,
the game.
It's the same thing you've known.
Yeah.
You've known school, summers off, ball camp in the summers, November to February basketball. That's still going to be your life.
Now you just get a new set of challenges.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm so competitive. And, like, I have always had this competitiveness about me. Like, I want to succeed, but I want my team to succeed. And so, like, I'm looking forward to, like you, Hunter, like, now winning and losing it's gonna be a different perspective about it. And like, I'm excited to take on that challenge and, like, really, like, looking forward to my coaching career. Yeah. I don't know how to follow that one.
You got this, Kaylie.
Basically the same thing.
Did it kind of hit you the same, like, when that buzzer went off? Did it hit you, like, right then too, or did it take a little bit to set in?
One thing I regret is I kind of let my emotions get to me a little bit earlier than what Kassie did. Senior night, I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is the last time we'll play in Rollins Arena, you know?
But you knew you still had games ahead, but you were already thinking, like, man.
I was just like, and I do regret thinking about it like that, but that's when you know, like, this sport has meant something to you. You've dedicated your life and just sacrificed so many things in your family, like, that was a big part too, like, us losing in Iowa. I'm like, because we had family to travel with us all the way to Iowa, so I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was trying to pick up Brighton for an AU tournament, and he was like, Josh, like, oh, we're in Iowa, man.
Yeah, like, they've been so supportive of us, and, like, and it's bittersweet, and, you know, I'm gonna miss playing the game, but my thing is I'm looking at all the things that basketball has given me. I've been to places I probably wouldn't have been without basketball. I've made relationships that I probably wouldn't have made without basketball. So like I'm looking at all these great things that this sport has brought me. So it just kind of gives me like a grateful perspective about the sport. And now I can focus on how I'm going to give that love to somebody else. How am I going to use my stories and my experience and help a little girl that don't think that she can.
Because that may have been y'all.
That
at
was
one
us.
time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like I'm excited about starting this new chapter. I'm definitely gonna miss it, especially like at the University of Cumberlands when they play their first game. Like, I wish I was out there playing. But I'm excited about this new journey that we're about to go on. And yeah.
Well, I will tell you, when you're a coach and you make them run in this conditioning season, you are going to sit there and be like, okay, this is the better spot out of the two right here. I like being right here, standing here watching them run.
Yeah.
You will enjoy conditioning season for sure.
And this whole season, like our preseason conditioning, I'm like, dang, this is our last conditioning. Like, I'm going to give it my all, even though, like, conditioning sucks, everybody hates it. But I'm like, I'm going to miss it one day, Like, but
because you will look back and be like, man, I took that for granted.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that anymore.
And, like, practice, I had a whole different, I loved practice, and I loved, like, being able to play because some people wish that they were in our spot, that can't play,
Right.
So I had a different perspective this year. I'm going to go in the gym. I'm going to be thankful I'm even here, even on the bad days. People wish you were in your spot right now.
Well, like you said, when that final buzzer sounds at the state tournament in high school, those kids, that's
was
them.
the end. Yeah.
You all are like, hey, I've got a chance to go play college. So you had 4 more years of that. A lot of them, high school is when it ends. So they kind of get that feeling before y'all get that feeling. So getting to play those 4 years, like you said, I'm grateful to be here. I'm going to give it my all. And then when it ends, it's kind of even more, a little bit more bittersweet than, high school.
You were talking about going and helping a little girl who was like you and you were a little girl. What advice would you give to somebody, just say like a high school girl ball player right now that's wanting to go on and wanting to be the best and wanting to go on to the next level? What advice would each of you give to them?
I'd probably say of course, hard work. If you put in the hard work, you can make it. And never let anyone tell you that you can't, and never put your worth in people, because your worth has got to come from inside and through Christ. That's what I've really got. That's what I really stood on my past 4 years is there's so many people you've got to do good. There's so many people putting pressure on you, but Christ is the ultimate person you want to put your worth towards, Right. So if I had to give advice to a younger player, it'd be work hard, never tell anyone that you can't do it. You want to be the best player on the floor, but that comes from hard work, and heart. If you give all your dedication and heart to the game, you're gonna succeed.
I would tell them to never underestimate yourself. We believed when we were younger, we had this dream, but it came reality. So I would tell them to never let anyone underestimate you, never underestimate yourself. Work hard every single day, put in the extra hours, and you'll do anything you put your mind to.
And I think, like you said there, you'll do anything you put your mind to, and you all have had successful careers and playing basketball. I think whatever you decide to go on and do, you're going to be successful at it. And
Coach of the Year in 5 years. They're gonna have co-coach of the year.
I was going to say, hopefully you'll come back on here after you're state champions from coaching. Or
that's the dream, ain't it?
Oh,
did you get Coach of the Year?
I did. I won.
Coach of the Year, and that took 1 year or 2.
Yeah.
1 year.
This is my third season.
Third season.
Yeah, so I did, but unfortunately we didn't do very well in tournaments. But I did win Coach of the Year. That felt good, and my players were more excited. They were we always put it on the board. My center got MVP of the district.
Oh wow, yeah.
And I was like, y'all want to know who won MVP in first team? And they're like, no, who won Coach of the Year?
Oh,
and I was like,
that's when
I told them, I was like, it was so and so from this school,
Yeah.
and they were like, no, you're lying. And I was like, it was me. And they went crazy. And they're, all right, now we want to know which one of us won. But they were more excited for me than them. So that felt pretty good. But, it was great to do that. But now I want to succeed like with the team and win some hardware. I want to
Hunter,
win a couple
he ain't
championships.
humble about it. He'll talk about being coach about it.
Oh, whatever.
He'll tell everybody who comes along.
I haven't told anybody.
That's how he introduces himself. I'm Hunter Crouch, coach of the year.
Do not do that.
Hey, I brought it up. I brought it up.
Yeah, that is a lie. Grant's lying right now. But seriously though, it felt good. But I want to win win some championships. I want my boys, because Sunbrights, they've only won like 2 in the last 60 years. So I would really like to win one and just say that I did that at that school and see so those boys can get that feeling. Because y'all have won district championships, y'all have won region championships. Like, there's no better feeling than winning those and just knowing like, hey, we're the best team in the district. We're the best team in the region. We're going to the state tournament. It just means more. And Sunbrights, the boys have never been to a state tournament. So that's kind of the ultimate goal is reach the state tournament. If we were able to do that, that would just tickle me. I would just be so satisfied. Whatever happens down there in Murfreesboro, but I would just love to make it down there with our boys. When we got 140 kids in the school, I thought our Clarkrange was small. We're the 6th smallest school in the state. So to be able to do that, I think would be awesome. And I think we can here in the future. We've got some talent coming up, so it'll be exciting. Hopefully we can, and hopefully y'all can go from players to coaches. And hey, I've been here as a player, now I'm here as a coach. That's kind of like what I'm thinking. Like, man, that would be cool to say,
And you kind of know like what you want to bring to your team because you have experienced like what you need.
Right, and
as
you're
a
like,
player.
hey guys, I've been here before.
You
We've done this.
understand.
Yes, this is what you need to
and
expect.
I feel like your boys can relate to that.
Right, and this needs to be your mindset. This needs to be what you're thinking about. You need to be going to bed at a certain time, locked in, ready for these games and things like that.
Yeah, I think you all are going to do well at coaching.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you all want to add to this? Anything else you'd like to say on here?
Leave us with something good right here, both of you.
Okay. Guess how many free throws I hit in a row in high school?
95.
50.
Okay, Wait, do
I already
you know?
know.
Well, let's just say Grant's closer.
Oh my God.
What was it? 149?
And you were
It's
and you were
149.
telling us that night you couldn't hit 10 in a row.
Yeah, I know. Props to my dad. He helped me get there.
You hit 149 in a row?
Yeah, something like that.
That's got to be a Guinness World Record, right?
I don't know, but I just know Coach Rogers literally paused practice and literally was like letting me hit my free throws because he didn't want me to
Because that's like a thing. He has like a list.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
That's going to be some kind of record, like
All right,
you said.
follow that up.
What do you got?
What's the most threes you hit in a game?
Yeah,
most
have you
steals?
hit 150
you set the
threes in a row?
state record or something for
I had 11 stills.
in one game. Yeah, that's a state record.
And I've
That's
had
in the
that
books.
in college. I've had, I think, 10 still games.
I thought it was like 11.
One 11 still game.
Oh,
So y'all
yeah.
had some double doubles, plenty of double doubles.
Yeah.
I was one game. I had one. I think it was one rebound or one steal away from a triple
Triple-double.
double.
Well, that's what I was about to ask if you ever had a triple double.
Wow.
I've never had a triple double, sadly,
Wow.
but I did have 12 assists one game or 11 or something. It was something up there, which I really took pride in my assists, my 4 years.
You had to.
I
point
had
guard.
to.
You had to.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, scoring's nice, but like I loved my assists. Like that was the only thing I looked forward to after every game is looking to see how many assists I had.
And another thing with younger kids, a lot of the media is saying you have to score this many points to be a good player.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in there's other things on the floor.
Well, you're
that,
living proof of that.
Yeah, well, that's what me and Hunter talked about before, like the Xavier point system.
Yeah, the stat system that we use.
Yeah, it shows stuff on it that doesn't show up in the stat sheet, but people are still putting out.
It's like a plus minus thing. So if you score 20 points, then you get 20 points on like plus 20. But if you turn the ball over and foul, stuff like that, it goes down. But if you don't score and you get 10 rebounds, 10 assists, you still have 20 points. Like there's so many other things that you can do. Steals, take charges, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I want to like put into my system if I do coach like younger kids. Be like, you are just as important by getting them rebounds as someone shooting a layup. Like you might have heard that layup,
It's like Ben on my team having 23. Was it 23 rebounds? He had 23 rebounds. I think he tied the single game record.
Then he had a couple like 18, 19
That's
rebound games.
That's like his thing. He had a nose for the ball. He was going to rebounding. He'd come and tell me, I'm going to break that. He
That's
never
awesome.
talked about scoring.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have him on the floor, we were probably getting beat.
Yeah,
he
that's-
had to be on the floor.
That's the thing about good players. You got to do what it takes to win. Even if it's like getting your assists, getting your rebounds, getting your steals. I mean, in the end, basketball is a team sport.
Yep.
You've got to have your players on the floor that's going to contribute from each position.
Yep.
So.
It's not about one person.
No.
Yeah.
It's like Kaylie was saying, though, kind of the media, and I feel like the way the game's kind of changed, like we were talking about earlier, all they talk about scoring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all you prioritize is scoring. So the kids come up and they think, well, man, I've got to score, in which they do. If you want to get to the next level, you've got to score.
Yeah.
But they really downplay the rebounding and the assist. I mean, it's like me and Hunter talked about before. I don't know. Whenever I grew up, I liked watching a guy make the pass.
Yeah.
You know, I liked watching Steve Nash or
Well, it's like we
Jason
said,
Kidd or somebody make a cool pass. I thought that was cooler than a
Yeah.
guy scoring.
Right, like we said, all of us were in agreement. It's like, oh man, a satisfying play is the one more pass.
Yeah.
Well, if that's you making that pass, that's an assist. That's no
Yeah.
points for you,
Yeah.
but that's your favorite play in the game. So I mean, that's not scoring.
You're
You
being
know,
the playmaker.
right? And it's just
And a lot of people overlook that now.
right, and that's just a big part of the game. Everybody's got to do a little bit of everything,
And that's why you all have been so successful. You do a little bit of everything.
a little bit of all of it.
Appreciate that.
Girls, appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Man,
I
this was
appreciate it.
awesome.
Thank you for letting us come
Yeah,
on
it's
the
been
podcast.
awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you all
so
for
much
coming on. We'll definitely have you back on whenever you win a state championship.
Oh yeah.
Here in about 10 years, maybe less, maybe. Who
Less,
knows?
10 years.
Is that a lot? 10's a
10
lot.
I think you might have Hunter Crouch back though
Oh, yeah.
first.
Wait.
Coach of
Well,
the year.
He's like a staple in here now.
Yeah. He's co-host.
got
He's
the-
going to be here all the time.
I've got
it
the
seems like.
internship on lock. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna have to work on the bathroom breaks.
Yeah.
Until he gets something better to do. That,
in my spare time.
yeah, something he wants to do at the house or something. I guess during basketball season he won't be here. but-
I'm all for it, man.
Well,
I'm enjoying it.
before we get off here, we need a fun fact about you guys.
Oh yeah.
Gosh.
Something
Go ahead, host.
interesting.
Go ahead, host.
Something interesting about me. I don't know. I'm like everybody who comes on here. I don't think I'm that interesting.
I think Grant's fun fact is just like, if he wants to get into something, he's going to get
He's
into it.
gonna
Just
do
like
it.
the podcast,
Oh,
like
yeah.
he's dove in and now he has like, everybody's texting me and calling me like, has this guy been doing this for a while? I'm like, no, he just decided to do it. And they're like, man, he sounds great. All these
Yeah.
episodes are so like in order and everything
Yeah.
looks legit. And I'm like, yeah, he just got into it. So his fun fact is that he's just good at
I don't know.
getting into it.
Yeah, a fun fact about me is I got a bunch of kids, but but yeah, I don't know. I do like to dive into something head first. Whenever I get my mind on I want to do something, I like to jump in and do it. And I don't know, and it's like you all talking about just in anything. I like to try to be the best at it.
Yeah.
And even though maybe I fall short sometimes, but I do like to try to be the best, and I've got that same mindset of I want to be the best. And so yeah, but yeah, fun fact, I got 4 kids, and they're 5, 4, 2, and 6 months. So, but other than that, you know, I like doing this podcast, and I hope other people are enjoying it. And
Tell all your friends, share it.
Oh,
yeah.
We'll drop the link. We'll drop y'all's
Subscribe.
links, everything.
we're going to be on YouTube now. We ain't even released our first video one yet, but it comes out tomorrow. And yeah, everybody shout out to the camera there. And but yeah, I hadn't really had anybody ask me any questions. I wasn't prepared
That's
for that.
the first time somebody's like asked.
Yeah, I'm
us a
usually
question.
just asking the question, so I wasn't kind of caught me off guard there.
Hunter.
Oh gosh, I thought y'all were gonna
You
forget
had
about
time.
it.
You had time
I
to
thought you were
think
gonna
about
forget
it.
about it. Oh man, fun fact about me.
He was coach of the year.
He was coach of the year. Shout out.
I don't know.
HC for 3.
He was a bucket in high school. I will give him that.
He
Well,
was.
yeah.
He's a ball hawk though.
I was a ball hawk. I took a lot of shots, I guess. I don't know.
He's a lefty.
You said HC for 3. I guess that reminds me, like, anytime I give my email to the school or, like, somebody, like an adult, my email is HC for 3 at something. And they're like, oh, that's an interesting email. I'm like, yeah, I made it when I was 10. Like, I still have the same email address when I was 10.
Dude, I've got one. Speaking of that, that's funny. I'll give this funny fact about me. I've got just, I don't know. It's a funny little email that I made when it's 2009 because I've got the year in it. It's TN Braves fan 2009.
Tennessee Braves fan. 2009.
Yeah, I mean, I was whatever. How old was I? 12.
know,
I was 12 in 2009. That's my first email. I got away from that though. It's Clayton Grant 199. Or if for any business dealings.
Yeah, any sponsorships, hit him up.
Yeah, hit me up at delatorydeals@gmail.com.
That's like the people that make funny Snapchat, like when they were kids. Funny. You
Yeah.
can't change your
Can't
Snapchat
change
username.
it.
Luckily, I did not.
Yeah, mine's just crouch floor. Like I'm just that doesn't.
Yeah.
I
Got
don't,
lucky there. Didn't
yeah, I didn't put anything
Yeah.
corny or anything,
Yeah.
but some of our friends did, and like they can't change
can't,
it. They,
yeah.
they have to make a new
Yeah.
account. So
you? Yeah. Well, speaking of that, if you all want to, give out your socials or the basketball socials or whatever you want to give out there, and anywhere anybody can check y'all out at.
may get a couple more NIL deals before
I
it's
think
all.
my Twitter is Kaylie Monday, and then Instagram Kaylie
It's
Monday.
not Twitter, Kaylee. It's called X.
X. Oh, it is. I still haven't updated it. Fun fact: it's still blue with a bird.
No
Yes,
way.
I still
Oh.
have it.
She doesn't have no Riz.
You could probably sell that phone for
I know.
$10,000.
That's why I haven't updated it.
It still says Twitter. That's
Yeah,
funny.
I'll show you.
I've never had somebody. I've not
I
heard
didn't
that.
Yeah, right
know.
there. Twitter.
What?
Yeah, I haven't
What happens when
updated
you
it.
click on it?
It's just Twitter.
What? I figured that would automatically update.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It still has the bird.
Yeah.
But it like refreshes and everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
That is
normal.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's on airplane mode right now.
I still call it
but-
Twitter though. I
Yeah.
still say tweet.
Yeah.
I still say retweet. I don't say
Yeah.
I mean, what else would you say? Xing?
Yeah. Yeah.
You-
I
you-
re-X'd it.
I re-Xed
I X'd
Oh
it.
no.
it. Man, you Xing today?
Yeah. I don't know.
Did you see that guy's X?
That's so weird. I don't do that. I don't
That
do
is
that.
crazy.
Yeah, that just doesn't go with it.
That's funny.
I mean, I guess we could talk
All right.
all night, but
Yeah. Cassie and Kaylee Monday.
Kassie and Kaylie Monday, everybody. Two legends of Clarkrange,
The
and
goats is what I call them.
two future coaching legends too.
Yep.
Listen,
You can't say that on here. This ain't college.
She don't
Cassie.
have a job yet.
I
so
don't have a
she
job
can say
yet,
whatever
so
she
just
wants.
follow me.
Hit Cassie Monday up for the
Tito
NIL
Slay.
deals.
You
Tito
might have
Slay.
to cut that.
Yeah. Tito Slay, please don't listen
Yeah.
to this podcast.
She don't even have a job. She ain't.
No.
recruiting. That was a joke.
That was
It's
a joke.
comedy.
In all reality,
She's really going to be a comedian.
in all reality, Cassie and Kaylee are signing a contract after this. They're going to work at Sunbright and coach the middle school team for us. That's what's going to happen. So
Could be. All right. Well, thank you all for coming on again, and I think this has been a great podcast.
Yeah, it has.
and
best podcast yet?
Oh.
Maybe. Who
hey,
knows?
Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah,
it
thank
has been
y'all.
great, and
Yeah.
and we wish you the best of luck in your careers, and we thank everybody for listening, and subscribe to the podcast, and have a good night.
Good night.